Okay.
Matt, are you editing this?
Yeah, sure.
He might be.
Are you gonna provide me with B-roll to put over the top of it?
No, we'll probably just use a picture of Ryan
I
Scott
can
like last time.
provide you with B-hole to put over it.
Perfect.
To be whole.
Just-
So, we're here today to
We
talk
didn't
about.
clap sync.
Oh, we fuck you! You made me think about it for a second.
You made him think. How dare you?
Made me think about it. So we're gonna talk
really
about
gets the dog and jug.
we're gonna talk about Nier Automata today.
It's Automata.
It's whatever. I don't care.
It's
It's
not
Nier a
far.
tomato. Because Hunter and I really like this game. We made Ryan and Matt play it, and
I'm Hunter.
something tells me they're not going to be as receptive about it. But I think
I think we'll have different complaints, though.
I've got a lot of just like, I guess, talking points here, but depending on how the answers to some of these early things go, we'll see how much of that we end up using.
I mean, we can still hit the talking points.
Yeah.
It's just me and Hunter reiterating our thoughts about Nier. It's not that interesting.
I haven't
to
played
me.
it.
Nobody
since
knows
it
your
came
thoughts
out.
about Nier.
That's true. Hunter does.
yeah.
But...
I guess we'll just go ahead and start off. Ryan, just start off. Just what do you think?
I did not like it.
Okay. Why did you not like it?
Podcast is over.
Yeah.
Okay. Pack it up, boys.
The gameplay was really bad, and having to put it on autoplay mode was just to like will myself to get through it wasn't very fun. I think having an open world in the game, I still stand by, is very stupid. Which I think you said a thing, if you'd like to respond to anything I say.
Well,
But I think what you had said to me was, you get to see the world change. You see like one thing change, and it's like, oh, who gives a shit?
it's not so much that, but it's like, how would you do the side quest structure and the exploration?
Let me tell you about side quests and what I would do with those. I would put them right in the trash.
Motherfucker. So this is how this is going down.
A bunch of wrong opinions on that side of the table.
No, not
Good
wrong
ones over here.
No, they don't have wrong opinions. They have wrong facts.
Oh, sorry.
They're wrong about truths.
I guess.
Like, how would you? I mean, legitimately, how would you do the side, or would you just?
I honestly think I would take them out and make this just like a linear game. Because I felt like I found myself enjoying a lot more of it just when it was like, okay, you're in a level now, do the level thing. But anytime it was open, the openness wasn't interesting enough. There was just a lot of walking. And it was like the walking was so fucking boring. And what they tried to do to mitigate it was just like, well, here's a crowd of enemies. And it's like, okay, well, fighting those is either really boring or I walk around them.
I'm trying to think of like a example of the exploration I really enjoyed. And
I mean,
honestly,
okay, I have one of those.
Hit me with it.
So the first time you get told to go to Pascal's village,
Mm-hmm.
right? You leave the resistance camp, you go and you try to go through the big, like the billboards that are there that have gaps in them.
You guys
Right.
don't have to use coasters.
We're not. We're using
Okay.
paper towels.
I'm gonna obsessively wipe up the water
fine, I'm
anyway.
just gonna- I'm
So,
gonna get coasters.
This seems like a good use of podcast time.
yeah,
No,
the
this
first
is
time
bad.
the first time you go to Pascal, you like, you try and get through the regular way, and then it's like, oh well, you gotta go through the sewers and go underground. I thought it was kind of neat. As far
There
as-
was one exploration bit that's that same part where you can like climb that first ladder, but if you go a little further through like a collapsed part of the sewer, you can find a weapon over there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool.
And there's a lot of examples of finding like weapons like that.
Mhm.
But again, to what end? Like, I am fully agreeing with you that I don't like the combat. I did normal combat all the way through my first A2 run and about like 75% of my 9S run, and then it was just like, I'm just not, it's mindless.
Yeah, I felt like 2B's, the combat
not
stuff
even,
was
like,
really mindless.
Not quite mindless enough to completely zone out, because they still want you to do the dodge, and so it's like you have to pay attention, but it's just,
Unless you
it's
get the chip
mashy in
for
a
it.
way.
If you get the chip for it, you don't have to do anything.
Well, I mean, that's, yeah.
I turned it into auto combat, and I already had all of the auto chips that I needed.
Yeah,
didn't-
when you switch it to easy, it gives you all of them.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can you turn on auto combat not in easy mode?
No.
Okay.
And you can also, I mean, you can selectively disable the chips and everything, but it's like,
Right.
you're going so far to activate, you might as well turn them all off.
I think the one I ended up turning off was...
The OS chip.
Yeah, I did do that. I did get that ending. There was the the one in there that was like auto switch
I
weapon.
turned that shit off.
Yeah,
Because it
that's-
kept
it's
switching to like missiles, and it was like,
Yeah.
okay, the locking on and firing these things both isn't as strong as just the regular Gatling shot.
And it misses half the time.
It misses a lot of the
Too
time,
close.
and it takes forever. Like, it was tripling the amount of time it took me to fight things. I'm like, this is so fucking
Yeah,
stupid.
I also turned off auto weapon switch just because it's like I only ever like put my shit into 2 weapons anyway, typically.
Same. But I did end up like combining and fusing chips and leveling up weapons and doing that stuff, just in kind of the hopes that I could speed this up.
I had to do that to finish the game.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
I would have
Tell your
probably
story.
Well, we'll talk about issues we ran into
yeah.
with finishing the game at a later point.
That's
So
a-
okay, so what we're talking about open world. It's like
I feel like if the map had been a little more comprehensive, like if you could actually fucking see where you were going from the map, it would have been the exploration would have been more bearable.
Yeah, I
Because
thought
the
the
map
was
is
kinda
just
shitty.
so it's which they put into the game like, oh, the
they
reception's
also
bad. and
they,
it's the
they openly
satellites.
talk about why their maps bad.
Yeah, and it's like that's all fine and good.
Calling
but also,
something and just-
fuck you, put a good map in your game.
Being ironically annoying is still annoying.
Right.
So would you prefer they just didn't even bring up that they have a shitty map?
It adds nothing.
Yeah, I feel like at that point I'm reading it more as like, oh, you fucking know and decided not to do
Right.
anything about it.
I mean, in the defense of that, I will say, compared to previous Yoko Taro experiences,
Woo, buddy, Drakengard.
this one plays pretty damn well.
Okay.
But
mean-
I guess the thing about the combat that really bugs me, and that has always bugged me, is when I bought this game, I didn't know about Yoko Taro. I didn't know fucking anything about this. I didn't like read the reviews. I didn't fucking know. I bought it because I like Platinum. I'll buy anything with the fucking Platinum Games logo on it, and that specifically, this is the team that made Metal Gear Rising, which is top fucking goddamn notch. I love Metal Gear Rising. Metal Gear Rising plays amazingly, and then to have this play as bad as those like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Transformers,
Yeah.
the Korra, that it's like this is a C tier Platinum game gameplay wise. But I got past that, but I am not gonna sit here and say the gameplay's good. It has always been my gripe. It was my gripe in fucking 2017 when we were doing Game of the Year, and I put Yakuza above it. Like, it has always been my gripe. And I'm not gonna sit here and fucking say that it was good. You guys just seem to tolerate it, or it. The things I like about this game did not outweigh the bad combat for you guys.
I felt like 2B's stuff was really mindless as far as doing the combat goes, so also A2's.
Yeah.
I felt like 9S's was a bit better, but the process of getting in and hacking was kind of annoying, especially when you're doing the auto combat stuff.
You have to
it's
turn
like,
it off.
I'd have to toggle off auto combat, hack into somebody,
Turn it back on.
turn it back on when I got back in there.
Just don't have auto combat on.
Yeah, see, this motherfucker, like, when I told him I turned on auto combat, he fucking just kept roasting me about it. It's like, fuck you, it's boring. The combat sucks.
Yeah,
Also
and it
played
wasn't that it
Persona
was
4
hard.
on very easy, so
Yeah,
fuck you.
Fuck you.
Like,
when I
it's not that I
started
was
on-
having issues with what I was playing.
Yeah, it's not that
like,
it's hard.
It's that
It's
it was boring.
Sounds like it was too hard
even
to
on
be.
normal difficulty, all I was doing was holding R1. That's
Eh.
all I was doing.
That
Oh,
was
'cause
so
you're
much
Just
fun.
shooting. I mean, like, getting in there and trying to dodge perfectly and do the melee and all of that. It's just.
I mean, it's
it
not
was-
a hard game. Even
No,
with
it's
the
not a
players.
hard game, but
Just hit
even
X
still,
once
it
in a
was.
while.
I almost
it was
wish
fucking
it was
boring.
hard.
Yeah, it's like, I wish the combat had more finesse to, like, I mean, I know that this team can make a great fucking combat system. Like, I know that they can
fucking
do it.
look off your face,
Yeah.
you piece of shit.
They made a great combat system. It's called Nier Automata, available in stores
They
now.
made a, like, passable combat system. They, like, made a PS2 era mediocre combat system.
Yeah,
Like,
the Yoko
Yeah,
Taro.
what is this? Mega Man 64?
And see, that's the thing, is you're coming at this as a Yoko Taro fan.
Yeah.
And I totally get why you would be okay with this, because I've gone back and played a bit of Nier 1. That shit ain't okay.
You should play Drakengard. It's
I
even worse.
rented
play
Drakengard
Bar.
once in my youth.
But I feel like the big thing with like getting platinum on this one is like finally we'll have a Yoko Taro
Yeah.
game with decent gameplay, and it's like, oh no, it's better gameplay.
It's better.
It is decent.
Well,
It is.
we'll get into that.
I think it's okay.
I never once thought I want to turn on auto combat when I was playing Nier 1.
I would have.
The second you told me it had auto combat in Nier Automata, I was like, okay, that's what I'm fucking doing.
To be fair, you get bored of Nier 1 way quicker than you would have to turn on auto combat. That game becomes insufferable much earlier.
when? Save it for the Nier 1 podcast.
Press X to start.
Let me put in.
No, we'll talk
Justin,
about Nier 1.
Justin McElroy plays Nier 1 .mov. Please just go ahead and rip that right in there.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
get
do
it.
that. I'll get right on that.
He does not like Nier 1.
I
don't
feel
listen
like
to the band
the
names.
world was pretty boring.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when the game made you look at the world, it looked good, but that was why it was making you look at it. Like when it gives you a cutscene and it's like, oh, this big fucking thing. It's like, oh, that's spectacular. No wonder they're making me watch this. But other than that, it's all sand or it's all bushes or it's fucking all buildings half sunk into the water.
Well, yeah,
which could
it's-
normally look cool, but they took all the color out of it.
I don't know. I think world visually wise, it looks fine. Again, not a super strong suit, nothing to like write home about. I think it's totally serviceable.
The place has
Fuck you.
it has
And that
it has
word.
4 locations that look kind of okay, and it has a side quest tied to going to those locations, being like, oh, it's a photograph, and you're like, oh, yep, this looks fine.
Emil's house looks nice. Emil's house looks
No, I
nice.
didn't
house
even
does.
bother
Yeah, I
going
know
there.
you
Yeah, I haven't
fucking
been
didn't.
there.
I
I
went
know
there-
you didn't do shit.
I went there in Nier 1, so I don't need to go there in Nier 2.
But it's better in Nier 2.
It's pretty good Nier 2.
Yeah.
So
I
Nier
I did
Automata
manage to
slows
find
down.
Emil in his little car though,
He's great. He's a great boy.
but only as 2B. Never again.
Well, yeah,
Oh, so he didn't show up when you were opening the tower and doing that very...
No, I mean like his shop.
Yeah, I know. He
No, yeah,
is his
he's
shop.
just- He's
He
just
roams the
randomly
world.
Yeah, he roams
driving
the
around.
world.
I just didn't see him.
He was
again.
in that area when I was going to do that. I was like, oh, fuck, is it going to happen to me? And then he just kind of drove off.
It didn't happen to me on my most recent playthrough, but it has happened to me twice. During the scene where you're opening the tower as 9S and Devil and Poplar, this very emotional, important,
Every
kind of heavy
day's a
Okay,
scene.
he just like
sale.
drives.
Then he just-
Every sale's a win.
Yeah, he can still drive around and he will just show up and do his like cycle and his music plays over the sound. And I'm pretty sure it's intentional. Like I don't
Because
think that
he was never over in that area until that mission was going. So it has to be intentional.
like it's so like and again,
and I've also only ever seen it in that area.
that little fuck I love that. That's so fucking good. I like it. It's cute, it's quaint. But it's bad. I guess where do you want to take this?
Real quick, I like how they give an excuse for why it's always daytime.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking to Engels, he's like, yeah, thousands of years ago, this planet stopped rotating. And that's why it's always daytime.
Yeah.
Because Earth just stopped rotating.
Yeah, they're really
But
good at
there's
coming up
wind.
with excuses for not
There's
implementing
still
things.
wind.
Yeah, there's wind.
You can still have wind.
Yeah.
Doesn't okay.
Wind is a pressure thing.
It's true.
Okay.
So I guess just where
I think I would be cool with doing like, what if we'll like trade blows? Like, we bitched about something. Why don't you guys say something good and we'll tell you you're wrong? Or agree with you. 'Cause
I guess-
there are some things I like.
I will come at this and it's like if I can't get this out of you, then there's no point to this. Can we talk about Pascal? The tragedy of Pascal?
How he deserved it.
Rip.
Fuck off.
And how he deserved it. Welcome to the Pascal Deserved It podcast.
Okay, I want to. My opening point, my first argument, opening statements. Waving flags is fun.
Waving flags
Yeah.
is
Waving
fun.
flags is fun.
Waving
We can all agree.
Waving the
Pascal's-
flag is fun. That's what they
Pascal's
say.
Village, I think, is my favorite song in the game, excluding Emil's song.
I will even charge you a markup.
Like, I loved going into that village and the me boop bow, hey who me, my me be boop my boop boop.
I've really warmed up on the soundtrack over time. My initial run through when again 2017 when we talked about it, I wasn't as.
Persona 5 soundtrack better.
I mean, let's not don't get it twisted. Persona 5 soundtrack still blows this out of the fucking water, but I have come around to this one quite a bit. But I just I think everything with Pascal is easily the most interesting. Can I help you?
You move that away from you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God damn.
It's
I'm
constantly in the red when you're
sorry.
talking.
Yeah, you yell a lot.
Loud
I'm
boy.
sorry.
Actually, you probably need to move it
I'm
like
passionate.
here-ish
Yeah,
because
and
Matt talks
only.
quietly. Matt's over there mumbling about an open world, and Dash is like,
I'll just talk at Hunter.
TV turn off.
Oh, it's probably
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Was your TV go on sleep mode or something?
No, it's it's probably my
screensaver.
computer actually.
Alright.
Yeah, just
Um,
move the mouse.
So I think everything relating to Pascal is pretty great. I think Pascal's character arc, I know I talked about this again in 2017, is he is the character, he is the moment, he is the best part of that game.
Why don't you just marry him? Fuck.
You can't marry robots. That's illegal.
Well, I guess I do really like Pascal's story. I like Pascal's character, but especially with his stuff.
Like how he dunks on Nietzsche.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Pascal dies before he finishes the Ponce.
Pascal doesn't die.
I mean, he can.
I mean, the shit happens before Pascal gets.
He's not
Pascal doesn't
dead.
get to finish Ponce. That's what matters.
So this was kind of an issue I noticed across almost all of the game, and this was probably like this will be my biggest. This is my biggest hurdle, I think, because a lot of people, the big part of this game is like, oh, it covers deep philosophical themes. It took the wind out of its sails every time anything happened. I noticed it really bad with Pascal's thing, is they explain what it means. They just go like, it's like, okay, like, during that scene, Pascal was like, I taught him everything, I taught him, I even taught him fear, I thought that would be fine, they should have stopped there, and then A2's like, fear is what destroyed them, and let me model it, let me tell you what you're supposed to be thinking right now, where it's like, it doesn't trust you to reach any sort of deep conclusions or think about it yourself. It's a lot of, here's what this means. Here's this. Here's what this is. And it's like, it lacked any sort of subtlety. I didn't think about it after the game because it just told me what to think, so I didn't have anything to chew on afterwards. Although there are a couple of things which we can talk about later that it was like, I picked up on it and it was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting thing. But then upon accidentally restarting the game, I was like, oh no, never mind. He explained what I was supposed to be feeling here. And
Part of that is because if you've ever seen any discussion about not only Nier, just anything that slightly gets philosophical at all, there's always just fucking idiots
and that's
who
fine.
don't get it.
That's fine. I think it should be okay to let people misinterpret what you're trying to say. Or think about it in a different way, but it's like I just felt like it didn't trust me at all to even think about it.
I
Right.
guess
There's nothing wrong with having a message that you want to get across, but you don't need to just slap us in the face with it.
Yeah,
all the time.
I felt like every time something happened that was like somewhat philosophical or had something to think about, it'd be like, Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines humanity as this, and it's like,
I don't feel that is the main, I guess, message and theme of that game, though. Like, the philosophy stuff is, I don't want to say, like, a red herring, because it's not that. It's not like they're saying, like, oh, we're going to show you this, make you think it's about this, because it's not a situation like that. But I think I'll maybe go into a little bit later, like, when we actually maybe get into the theme stuff, but the theme of that game isn't so much the, like, oh, hey, look, we've got these philosophers and all of these, like, we got the Kierkegaard and we got the Simone de Beauvoir and all this shit. And it's like, oh, they're all parallel to their real life counterparts for the most part. But, like, that, I think, goes into a lot more detail and is quite a bit more subtle about Japanese workplace culture, what Yoko Taro's career has been like, and the way he feels, not only working in the game industry, but the way he feels interacting with, like, the typical Japanese kind of ganbate work culture. And I think that is the
Speak
actual
English, you fucking weeb.
well,
No, I'm just kidding.
I think
You're fine.
there's some stuff there that there are definitely red herrings, or maybe not even red herrings. I think he does some good work with, like, he'll be like, hey, existentialism, and then everyone goes, oh, this game's existential, when really the whole game is a critique of existentialism. I thought that was okay, but before it started getting to that stuff, like actually critiquing it, John Paul fucking annoyed me.
Yeah,
John
Paul Sartre is annoying.
Like, I know he is supposed to be annoying, but it's like, I feel like that is the character when I've talked with other people about it, that people are just like, yeah, man, existentialism is an existential thing, and then it's like, he's in there going just like, existentialism, right? And you're just like, fucking god damn it, don't just tell me what you're trying to show me. But yeah, that was kind of my thing. But then we'll get to other, I guess, interesting nuggets that I've actually been chewing on.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the big scenes, big story beats, is like he was trying to say something in that. It was like, I don't want you to miss what I'm trying to say. It's like, don't worry, if 2B didn't explain the end of this thing, I probably still would have gotten it.
And see, I get, like, there is a lot of stuff that definitely, like, hits you in the face, but I do think that game has a lot of room for little quiet moments, like little, I not necessarily subtext, that's not quite what I want to say with it, but a lot of it's in the side quests, and I knew, like, once, that game is a tough sell, and I know that you guys didn't like
Even
it, so
this far in,
it's one thing to fucking explain to you like this, but, like, every step of the way trying to get someone to get through that game is fucking tough, and then either you love it like I did, because I mean, fucking, it was the same way with me and fucking Hunter. I finished the A2 run, and I'm like, or not A2, the 2B run, and I'm just like, yeah, this was okay, I guess. And Hunter's like, keep going, and I'm like, do I have to? And he's like, no, just fucking keep going. And I get like halfway through the 9S where I'm like, Hunter, I fucking hate this. Like, when did, like...
Sounds like my messages to you.
Like, what am I fucking doing here? He's like, just keep going. And I just, like, I turn on auto combat, and it's like, that's when I start going. And then it's, beginning of Route C, which is, I think, for sure, like, the tipping point. Is where it's like, oh, shit, I like this a lot. And I think it bums me out profoundly that you two didn't. But... where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so they do have these quite little moments, but they're in a lot of the side quests, like Romeo's and Juliet's.
That one was pretty good.
Great fucking side quest. You see over and over a bunch of girl and boy robots fighting each other, where the girls always kill the boys and come out on top, and they repeat that over and over. Like, I think that was a neat little thing.
I feel like a lot of the side quests are walk more around in this world, and like we're gonna yell dialogue at you.
Gameplay sucks. We know. We've established the gameplay's trash.
Okay,
like, honestly, going throughout most of this game, I kept thinking, like, I would rather be reading a book, which I know a novelization of this
And it's
exists. Yeah. So it's the game.
Fuck you. I can go get the book.
I've seen the book. I got it for
Do you
somebody.
have long story short?
I got 'em
short
both,
story
baby.
long? Why would you get long story short?
Because there was a
That
sale.
sucked.
Got them all.
Wait, which one did I get you?
They
Short
make,
story long.
they
Is that a
complete,
good one?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
all the
good.
short
They
stories.
make Emil's
that-
face on the spine if you have both of them.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
not
That's over
worth
my
it.
bedroom.
Okay. So...
Oh, one thing I will say.
Yes.
One of the biggest problems I think I have with it is that, like, the beginning thing with 9S and 2B, they touch black boxes, like sex. Anyway, they blow up. Part of it is a lot of, like, 9S and 2B's relationship is built up in, like, side story stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a concert that they did before the game came out there. Each song has like 9S and 2B doing something, and they all end with 2B having to kill 9S for some reason. And that's why one of the first things she says when she like chokes 9S to death is it always ends like this.
I have
Because
questions.
like in that concert there's like 14 songs and she kills them 14 times over the course of that concert.
Which, if there's anything you need to know about Drakengard or Nier or the stage play or any of the other very canonical Nier things, Hunter will be more than happy to explain them.
Hello.
Yeah,
Okay.
tweet him on Twitter
Hunter,
at
I
Hunter
need-
Briggs.
No, I don't have a
Briggs.
I
Add him on Facebook.
I
Hunter
need
Briggs.
explanation for something.
Okay.
How do you choke an android to death?
Yeah,
Bitch,
how do
that's
you choke a
humans.
robot.
They're built like humans.
Yeah.
Like,
They don't breathe.
They're built
they
like
take
humans.
baths.
Yeah, but they do that to imitate people.
They were built like humans. Well, originally,
She crushes
this is
some
getting-
circuits in his fucking windpipe.
This is getting into Nier 1 stuff, so maybe we
I've
should
seen
save
it
till
and
later.
played it.
But originally they were built because so that way the souls of people could go back into their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So they were built like humans. So, breathing, stuff like that. They kind of stopped breathing down the line, but you can still choke them to death.
It's functionally a
essentially.
human.
It's functionally a human.
You're fucking
built with
nitpicking
robot
at that
parts.
I'm not nitpicking. If you
I
have a
was
big
very
scene,
seriously wondering how that worked.
Also,
Like,
magic.
because I had a couple. I
in
had
a real way.
that was the question. Is like I kind of like whatever. I realized like the symbolism and things like that, but at the same time, it's like this is fucking stupid. Like if you want them to be humans, make them humans.
I mean, all the times that they fucking stuck their sword through one of the other ones and it bled like crazy.
I mean, if we're
I'm
talking,
why
okay
couldn't
with
she?
that.
if
no,
we're talking
no, that's
about
what I'm
how
saying
the,
is why
if
didn't
we're
she
talking
just
about how
do
the fuck
that
did that
to
happen?
Miles?
How did all of the stubbies come together and birth the fucking Adam and Eve? Like, if you want to talk about like how the fuck does that make any sense? Like, that's the one thing that I look at. And it's like, Yeah, I don't-
Machine Network Evolved.
Yeah, Machine Network Evolved. Sure.
They just
I'd
all the
buy that
robots
way
have their
more.
little orbs in them, and they just
Well,
gather
okay.
together and crack their eggs
You
open.
say
and
you don't
made
like
an omelet.
You say
that
you don't
turned
like the
into Adam and
game,
Eve.
but what about when the stubbies are eating pussy?
That was pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
I feel like the game has a lot of like little moments and things that are all pretty good, but little moments don't make a game.
And
I
I
feel
guess
like there's
Little
a lot
moments don't make 24 hours worth of it.
That's, I guess, where my thing is I think that whole is very sure greater than the sum of its parts. It is a gestalt, if you will.
Ha
Haha.
ha ha.
Yeah.
Near 1, get it?
Yes, I do.
I,
Get
Play
it?
Near
mean,
1.
it
Get it?
just they repeated so many things.
Yeah.
It's stupid as fuck.
I
I don't mean necessarily the things that are actually important to the story,
It's-
but Keisho and Risho, or whatever the balls' names are, you have to kill them individually, and then they join up, and you have to fight them through a whole nother health bar.
Yeah.
Keisho and
They're
Risho.
they're
The
named
balls.
after
The balls.
they're named after philosophers
I don't
who
care what
focused
their
on
names
cycles.
are. That's fine.
Also, they're balls because of a short story based off of.
I don't care why they're balls.
They're balls because Beepy from Near 1.
Beepy?
Beepy.
We'll go to BP.
Is he sleeping?
Beepy from Near 1 got beaten up by Nier and then spent thousands of years in an auto
Who's
repair.
Nier?
No, the main character of Nier is named Nier.
Okay.
And then he turned.
Great.
Eventually, he turned into a ball because that's the most optimal shape for space travel. And he shot out into space, saw androids and robots fighting each other, used his advanced robot thing to give consciousness to the robots, and then just fucked off to space. And then the robots were like, "Ah, the story's called
Ah.
Fires of Prometheus."
A lot of people want to fuck off to
Okay.
space.
Yeah,
I
9S
would-
should have fucked off to space.
he did fuck off to space.
Yeah, if you chose wrong,
That's what I chose.
That's what I chose to.
I did too. Actually,
Also,
Yeah.
what,
Oh, fuck you. I'm the only person who picks A2.
what happens?
What? What do you mean?
You mean choose to stay instead of go?
No,
with
you
Adam?
get a choice with 9S's thing whether he goes with the
Goes with Adam and Eve.
goes into
Sure,
space
really.
or if he just
Yeah.
dies.
Because I did 9s before I did A2.
Okay.
Hey, I
Very
did
end.
too. And boy, was that A2's ending is real disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the canon one.
So this
that's
is kind of the issue I have with, I guess, Nier as a whole, and it's a similar issue with other things like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It is more fun to talk about than it is to play. Like, I could sit here and talk about, wasn't that a cool moment?
The
Isn't this
drizzle.
cool that it has this thing? Isn't this cool? But it was like, I feel like I would so much rather talk about the game than sit down and play it. I'd rather quote Aqua Teen Hunger Force, but then when you sit down and watch it, you're like,
God, this is
oh yeah, this is really shitty. It's funny when I say it out loud amongst my friends. It's cool when I talk about this amongst my friends. But sitting down and experiencing this on my own is not fun.
Little sidebar: the drizzle is a perfect example of that with Aqua Teen because
Mhm.
that episode sucks.
Yeah, that
but
episode
then you
sucks
say
shit.
it's black on a black background.
Like, it's little bits that are funny or little bits that are cool that you can, like, talk about and do stuff with, but sitting down and actually experiencing them is just like, oh my god.
I mean, I actually think I might agree with you on that one. The only reason I've played through it 4 times, it's like the first time I played through, initial run, and it's like, oh shit, I fucking loved this game. I need to go. I know. I wanted to 100% it. I didn't because there is so much fucking shit in that game.
So much
But I
shit.
got pretty close. Like, I got like upper 90%. So like,
Wow.
I did most of it.
Ending wise, real good.
But it's like, I've never
I
beaten
think I
any
got
of
5 or 6 endings.
I got A, B, C, D, E, and O.
Did you get the one where you eat the fish?
I don't know, we never got the fish ending.
Wow.
Jackass gives you a mackerel.
I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have the mackerel.
If you eat it, it kills you and you get an ending.
Yeah, because
No,
mackerels
don't
are
eat it.
poison to androids.
I got the one issue with the open world thing. Pascal's village is under attack. It's like, oh wait, how do I get there again? Because it's been so long since I've been there. Go down into the sewer, and it's like, you went on a walk and found yourself. But Pascal fucking ate it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
9S
neat.
when he's at the factory. I went the wrong way getting out of there, and I got an ending.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them are just kind of like you went the wrong direction during this critical moment.
Which
Well, and,
it
like,
would be
yeah.
fine if it rolled credits and just put you back at a checkpoint. But it's like,
Go back to your safe.
yep, the splat, the title screen splash.
That
and then you
fucked
pick
me
your
real bad
thing,
when I ate
you
the
pick your
mackerel.
thing.
Is I lost like 2 hours of progress.
I mean,
Which that
so-
was my first run of Nier, and I was like, oh, I'm not thrilled about this. It's happening.
Yeah, I fucking I was doing. Oh, I don't know what I clicked. It's okay.
You click
I was
stop.
doing in run C, when you end up back by the factory, like over in the water where all that shit happens.
Mhm.
Maybe not the factory. Yeah. You end up back
by
over
the
there.
water?
The beach,
Like
the
where
beach
all the buildings are
Oh,
half
yeah,
sunk
yeah,
down,
okay.
and like
Snake.
where you look for the black box and all that. I was back over there in C run, and I started off going like over towards the water instead of back over towards the land, and then it was like, oh, your capacity's filling up. You're kind of fucked with this glitch. You need to go sort that out. So I was like, okay, I guess I need to go the other way. So I started to go the other way, and periodically it's like, oh, we're just gonna kind of like smack you on the back of the head and make you walk really slow for a minute. And I was like, great, love that. And I kept going, and then I jumped off a fucking ledge so I could actually make some progress and landed down in the city ruins cave.
I did exactly the same thing.
And then I got to the top of the ladder and had to slow down again. So I couldn't jump up that ledge for like 2 fucking minutes. Then I'm sprinting over here, trying to get up this little ledge that I have to double jump and then dash across. And what happens right before I hit jump the first time? I get hit again. I fucking died right there.
I haven't died there, but I
couldn't-
made it
didn't-
with like
she didn't-
6 seconds left.
She didn't pull out of her glitch. Like, I just kept getting beat on by
It's like-
the little guys.
There's a route that it
I just
wants
got
you to
fucked.
take, and if you don't take that route, it becomes very frustrating.
I
But it's like
got
there's
it the
nothing that
second time.
indicates.
I
the
tried to
route.
take
No.
basically the shortcut. I've always taken that little jump that's over there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I got hung up fighting some dudes, and basically I just kind of like went up this way and around the pit, and it was because I fell in the normal pit,
Mhm.
got knocked into the bigger pit, the deeper one down in like the sewers
Mhm.
where like the alien shit is, and then had to try to figure out how to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like that was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. I think that took me 4 tries.
Jeez.
I-
Took
I-
me one.
It only took me one as well, but it was just
Twice.
like this is awful.
It was...
But like I was looking at it like this is probably somehow my fault.
No, that part
Man,
just
am I mad?
That part just kind of sucks.
That part... Oh, man.
Like I'm
I
sitting,
was
I'm
ready
sitting
to
here
quit
and I'm like
right
reading over
there.
my notes, and I think more and more the thing I'm realizing is that like
It's a bad game.
I like a lot of the ideas that it does, but I wish they could be executed better.
That's kind of how I felt. I
But
thought there was
I like the ideas enough that it's like I wish this game played a lot better. But if you could take these ideas and put them into a better playing
I
game,
wish it was a movie.
like it would. I don't think you
Go
could
on
do it as a
YouTube.
movie.
I wish it was
you can't do the end credits thing as a movie, but I think you could do everything as I think you could do everything in this as a book. For sure.
Well, they did.
They did.
It's bad.
Okay, no, but I think they could look okay, the game is too. But if we
No.
put it into a good game and then put it into a good book, then you could do it.
I think that there's just like a lot of things that wouldn't translate over into a book as well.
Like?
Or at least if they did it with each other. There's a side. You didn't do the fucking side quest with the red scarf?
I don't think so. no.
Okay, probably didn't.
Oh, fucking.
It's
He didn't
so,
tell me to.
They didn't do a lot of side quests. I tried to cover like the really
I did
important
very
ones.
few.
You
I
actually
did-
didn't
I
tell
did
me any of
literally
the side
one,
quests I was
and it
supposed
I
to.
was
told you
build the
Romeo's and
slide.
Juliet's.
That was the only one. That was
Build the
early on.
slide.
and
I
you were
told
like,
you-
I'll hit
I
with
told you to
another
build
one.
the slide.
The only one that I
The
did.
slide?
I told you to help the robots when you go back to Pascal's Villages A2. Did you not do that?
You did not tell me to do that.
Motherfucker.
The only one you told me about was the Goliath
So-
thing, and I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Talk to the children when you return to Pascal. Whatever.
I actually didn't have a choice in that. I went to go back to the ladder to go down, and they stopped me and talked to me.
Oh. Well, you didn't have
I
to
didn't
actually
have
go
to
and
do
do
the
it.
quest.
though.
That's
I did talk to them, and I ended up not finishing that one.
Fuck you. Build them a slide before they get fucking murdered.
It's actually real
Yeah.
easy. You literally go to the amusement park, and all the parts are on the ground. You just have to pick them up.
You did the
toy
stamps.
material.
You did the
I
stamps.
did. I might have built them the slide. I think I did.
Did you go down the slide? Because you would remember.
I did not go down the slide. I just
Then you
brought
didn't
the
build
parts.
it.
I think. I
Okay.
don't remember.
So anyway, the fucking Red Scarf side quest is, again, one of the better fucking side quests in there. The crux of it, you can do this on 9S's run, and you go and you basically... There's this android who has amnesia, just like, yeah, I've got all this shit, and you kind of go through these, series of run around, talk, kill, do the usual Nier thing, and basically, at the end of it, you find out that she is a special classification of android. She is an E model. And
Interesting.
when that happens, it's like, oh, like, fuck, this is crazy. And 9S is just kind of there like, yeah, that shit's fucked up. And then 2B's kind of like, yeah, that shit's fucked up. That'd be really fucked up, right? Except that's obviously not what she said because that's not fucking 2B acts. But it's like, it is a little moment that if you don't know about that, it just seems like fucking nothing. It just seems like whatever, 2B's being her normal fucking thing.
Well, yeah, but then you get to the 5th ending.
Well, yeah, but
And you
it's
realize
'cause
why that
side-
matters.
That side quest is about a robot, an android found out her friend got murdered, and she's like, "Oh, it was this other android wearing a red scarf." So you go find an android wearing a red scarf, which is at the resistance base. Talk to her, it's like, "Oh yeah, I got this red scarf from this other android." Go back. It turns out it was her. And then she's like, "Oh fuck, I'm an E model. I killed my friend."
But I did
And you
that.
can't do that as a book.
I found out about
I thought
that.
that was the crux of
I found
why
that.
we were talking.
I found out
this
about
one.
that quest after I beat the game for the first time.
Mhm.
So when I fucking saw that, and then I can see how to like, if I had done that in my first run through, I would just like, oh, whatever, E model. But then going through that again, doing that quest, knowing what like the relationship between 2B and 9S is, I found it to be an incredible amount more impactful because I got to it after the.
I mean, you can
first
always
run.
just remember that this was a thing that happened earlier, and read it.
No, what I'm saying is I don't want to know. I did not know about that. It would be like reading a book, and I just didn't read a chapter,
You
and
can
then
do
I
that.
finished. Yes, that's how you should read books.
So Dash doesn't know that experimental books can exist, and this is being an experimental game would probably work. But there's a book called Hopscotch that you can read just any of the chapters in any order, whatever you want to do, and it's a cohesive story. Start at any point, if you want.
No shit.
Yeah,
That's
I
weird
think
as
this
hell.
would work well as an experimental book, not just words on a page.
You couldn't hack A2 in a book.
Sure, you could.
You just wouldn't have to do the same fucking minigame 100,000 times.
A2 has 4 unique mini
Yeah,
games.
you have to do
It's real good.
4 things.
But you
on
have to
there.
be.
I
did all of
horrendously-
them.
recording.
No, I did it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I made sure I had.
I
It.
like
It's like, look, if you
I
can
liked the
try to do
menu
it.
one, where the
Yeah,
like
the
map
last
turns
one.
into the
Yeah,
pause
that's
menu.
A2's
That was neat.
her 4th act. That's a good
The
one.
problem though is that you have to be horrendously underleveled in order to do all
Which, if you
4.
play through the game
'cause
with
if
auto
you did
combat, you will
side-
be.
Yeah, if you
And if
did
you didn't do any
side
side
quests,
quests.
you'll be overleveled, and one hack will take off like half of her health.
Oh,
Fucking.
well, I'm glad
It was
I
like
was
that
only
part
like
was
level
fine. Again, it's just like
35.
it's like little moments that
I
it's
was
like
like level 68.
seeing that pop up made me go, man, I wish they did more interesting stuff with the hacking for the rest of the game and didn't wait until the very last moment to do something cool with it.
I think that recording these shit at the beginning, where
That was pretty good.
like I think that like that's just a neat little moment where
I'd be okay
Yeah,
without
yeah.
it though. Like that's kind of my issue. Is there's like a lot of little cool moments that it's like, yeah, that's fine. Again, it's just these moments are fun to talk about, but I don't feel like it added really anything to the whole. It's just kind of like, here's an idea, put it in. Here's an idea, put it in. Here's an idea, put it in. And you're kind of just like, yeah, cool. That happened. Neat. Now we're quiet.
I don't really know where to. I mean, I shared.
You
my-
got notes. Throw in some
Yeah.
stuff.
Fucking-
Say something you like. Say something
Let's
you
see.
don't
What do
like.
I
or
what do
do
I
like.
have here? I liked how fucking 9S fucking has no friends. No one wants to hang out with him, but he says, "Oh, everyone calls me Nines," and he just remembers that because he has motherfucking ghost code of old 2Bs calling him Nines.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like that.
210 wants his dick.
No,
Yeah,
no
she
one
does.
likes 9S Hunter.
She does.
Hunter, nobody likes him but 2B.
She
He's a
wants the-
fucking loser.
She wants the 9's dick.
Matt, do you have
Nice.
any just like questions? Because I feel like I
I
have a
mean-
few. One I answered for myself, but I think I have a few kind of knocking around in my head.
I mean, I'm very interested to hear what Dash has to say about the main themes of the game. Because it seemed like to me, it seemed like there were a lot of places it could have been going. Like, you see all the storybooks in the 9S run from all the machines.
Mhm.
And then at the very end, all the pods come in carrying their treasure. And it's like, okay, so is it like saying that we're destined to repeat what's happened? Or is it, something deeper than that? Or,
So
I feel like, and I messaged Dash at one point and asked if it was some kind of like meta commentary on creationism or something like that, because it kind of seemed like maybe something like that, and he said it was, and I quote, a drop in the ocean of the themes of this game.
yeah, it's like it
So-
doesn't.
So he asks about a specific
Woof.
theme, and then you just say, "Yeah, there's a lot of them."
Yeah,
That's not an answer.
I mean that's.
but that was
well,
like-
I didn't
that
want
was
to.
like a
I didn't
week
want to
ago,
go and
so-
talk.
Oh,
This
that's
was
true.
like
Oh,
after
yeah,
we
'cause
finished
you
the
finished it.
first run. It's like I want to talk about
that
that.
was Yeah, I was
It's
not
like-
deep enough to warrant actually getting an answer to that question.
He
But
wasn't
I
in
still
the
would like
ocean.
to know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's
He
like
was about to
this,
drop.
this game
Matt's in
does.
Target buying a towel, asking if the water's cold.
It kind of dips its toe into like a lot of different philosophical things, like obviously the nihilism, the absurdism, the shit like that kind of being its main ones. Just with the philosophers.
There's a nice little absurdism nugget that I really like that we'll talk about.
But I mean, the crux of it does deal a lot with like cycles and repeating themselves, and a core idea being from fucking again like the Roshi and Koshi or whatever that they put forward as they were Taoist philosophers, who everything's about cycles and moving forward to break them. It's like you don't want to keep, if you don't accept that shit can be fucked up and that shit can be sad, that you can deal with all this bad shit in life, you'll never move forward. Like, I want to say it's an idea called no saying, but I'm also might just be thinking of improv. But it's where basically it's like you shouldn't be afraid that bad shit is going to be happening to you in the future, because it is a constant, it is a fact, and if you don't accept that, you will kind of just keep reclusing in on yourself and never move forward with anything.
I mean, I think they punched that home in the last ending where the two pods are talking to each other if they like put 9S, 2B, and A2 back together, and then one of them asks like, "Don't you think they're just going to do it again?" It's like, well,
and
we
it's like,
can't
yeah,
really know.
They fucking might, but you should at least try. And that's the other thing, is like, yeah, everything sucks, everything can be fucked, this is the fucking apocalypse, there's no purpose, there's no meaning, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. That doesn't mean you shouldn't build relationships with those around you. That doesn't mean, like, just because shit sucks doesn't mean don't try. Don't fucking kill yourself. Don't fucking do any of that.
Don't eat the mackerel, kid.
Which-
So it's really just a suicide prevention game.
I mean, that's definitely like a theme in it.
Nier 1 was pretty much a suicide tempting game.
I mean,
Oh, good.
You-
It's that bad, huh?
You don't do a lot of the side quests,
No!
but like you another common thing that happens in side quests is you will find a machine that is like, oh, I'm good at this one thing. If it's like racing, or there's one that you have to fight, there's one you have to race. They
I
do
found the racing one.
they do a bunch of different stuff, and it's like basically you keep beating them over and over, and eventually it's kind of just like, well, I can't be better than you, and then they detonate themselves and kill themselves.
Which,
Okay.
so I had a big
That
question.
sounds very rewarding as
Yeah.
far as side quests go.
Hey,
I
those-
must
I
think
say.
You
those
get some
aren't the good
scrap.
ones. Those
Yeah.
aren't the good ones.
Those do hammer certain themes.
Like again, those emphasize like the idea, but those aren't like the good ones.
Yeah, one of the one of the original questions I had, and I did eventually figure out, like, this was like, oh cool, I like this little nugget here of things. I for the longest time was like, okay, so humans just don't exist. So why the fuck is Yorha? Like, they never really like explain the human Yorha thing, and I was just kind of like, I don't get why they would even do this. But if you see the machines, they kind of go crazy without their purpose.
Yeah.
You have the humans there they're the purpose. So without that purpose, they would go crazy. They find out the humans are dead, and guess what? They all go crazy.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, okay, you got to find your meaning in the universe, which is like that thing. You find your one thing you're good at. And you got your meaning. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which, finding the one thing is a much more Japanese, like, I guess, concept than it is here. Like, not to say that
It's
not
pretty French. Too.
like not a thing. Yeah, I don't know so much about it, but like Jiro Dreams of Sushi is a fucking movie that kind of explores that a lot, where it's like, okay, and this is what I was talking about, like that ganbate culture. It's a thing in Japanese where like they don't say good luck.
Okay.
What they basically say, they say ganbate, which is
I'll
whatever
try my best.
whatever you're gonna do your best. So it's like do your best thing, like you do you as best as you can. It's not a luck thing, but it's essentially used in the same situations. We're like, oh, yeah, you're doing that thing, good luck, whatever. Ganbate, motherfucker. But a
Have
lot
fun
of
working 10 hour days, 6 days a week.
Right.
exactly like
Have fun going to school on Saturday, you fucking nerd.
and Yoko Taro specifically, as I mean, you may have like seen some stuff that we've posted in chats and what like that, but Yoko Taro is maybe, I wouldn't say a fuck up, but he doesn't really subscribe to that ganbate idea. He's a artist.
He's a half-asser?
He's a half-asser. He has had a career in terms of like game releases that are pretty much all.
He's not gay then.
They don't sell well. They are not critically well reviewed. Like, they're kind of just bad. But he
Drakengard.
he keeps doing it because it's like, this is what his thing is. It's what he likes doing. But he knows that he isn't necessarily good at it. He's not putting in the work. He's not like he doesn't take interviews seriously. Like he's very jokey about everything. Like he doesn't take his work life seriously, which is severely in contrast, for people like his age group in Japan, where it's like, okay, you're going to become a salaryman, you're going to work hard, you're going to do this and do that until you fucking die, to the point that like people will die working and you can claim it on insurance. Wow. And it's just like a fucking thing that happens.
Wait. Obviously, this has nothing to do with Nier. When you say you can claim it on insurance, do you mean the employer or the family of the person who died? Okay.
So yeah, it's like if your husband or whatever dies working at the office just because he works himself to death, you get a payout.
Well, I would hope so.
But like more like in addition to the normal life insurance or whatever, like this is I think the company might pay it.
Huh.
And it's like that's just how shit goes over there. And Yoko Taro very clearly does not subscribe to that belief, and I definitely feel like there's a lot of things that this game does that show that. Both with like, oh, here is like the fear of dedicating yourself to this one thing, discovering you're not the best at it, and then it's just like, well, fuck. Mm-hmm. But that's also, I mean, again, that's explored a lot with like a lot of the absurdist shit where it's just like, just because you are not the best at something doesn't mean you don't have value, doesn't mean that you should just fucking kill yourself. Another one of the side quests I really like is that Goliath that you defeat when it's in the city eventually like makes its way into this. It's just like the top half of it just kind of like sitting there.
Okay. Which Goliath?
Angles.
The angle spot.
Angle spot.
The one with the like big ass.
Yeah, like the Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like one of those gets
okay.
You fight it, gets blown up, and then just like its torso is sitting there. I don't know if you can do it on 2B's route, but you can for sure do it on 9S's route. You can go to him, and you're just like, well, fuck, let's fucking repair him and see if it knows anything. So you fix it up, and you ask it questions. You kind of like download its data memory logs, and it's like, oh, okay. And then he's just like, well, okay, see ya. And then you can kind of keep coming back to it as the story goes, and keep like kind of giving it more parts. And then every time you're just like asking it stories, kind of giving more information, kind of telling it more like what's going on. And eventually, it's just kind of like, hey, you guys just kind of want to hang out here and just talk, tell stories, anything? And then you're like, no, we've got shit to do, fucking fuck off, whatever. And then eventually, after, kind of, it's like 4 times of, repairing and getting more information out of it, he's just kind of like, hey, can you please kill me? I'm a warbot that knows what it has done from when it was connected to the network, but doesn't necessarily feel that animosity anymore. So it's like, I know the lives I've taken, I've known this shit that I've done. I cannot move. I was built for this one purpose. I can't do that. I'm bored as hell. Can you please end my life?
You pass the butter. Oh my god.
You can fucking take my parts back, repurpose them for something else. Just please kill me. You can, when you're like running by it, you will see it just sitting there blowing the like balls out of its eye, like the attack kind of projectile balls, like it's blowing bubbles. Just like, I'm so bored right now. And it's like, hey, please kill me. And he's like, okay, fine. So you take the parts back out of it and you get the parts back. And I think that's another one of the fucking side quests that I really, really enjoy, is going back to him over and over and him just getting progressively more bored. But that is what I think that
is a perfect representation of how I felt playing the game.
But
you were also blowing eye bubbles?
It's not, I'm, being facetious by being a shitter about it. Like, I do think it's fine and a decent, like, it's a decent game. There's decent stuff. I appreciate kind of the more complex layers you get out of it from a game, but I don't think it hit the same highs or even hit me as hard as other games would have, or even like as far as people talking it up, it's kind of just like I don't think I get it.
I think that you definitely get it because
I get the game.
Yeah,
I don't get why people like it so much.
And I don't think a lot of it was like fucking right place, right time for me. Like fucking March of 2017, when I was bad in school and just kind of shit was like work was bad, just everything was kind of really shitty on the old Dash front. Like playing it
was
and
it not shitty?
Working through all that stuff was very therapeutic to me in a lot of ways. And I didn't expect to come at this of like, oh, this is going to be your two's next like favorite game of all time, like it's become mine. Like I never expected that, but a lot of it I do think was right place, right time for me. And fucking, if you want to keep.
Okay, real quick before we jump into something serious,
I guess
does 2B run faster than everyone else? Because it sure seemed like it to me.
She might have. She's a fucking combat android. I guess
there's A2, but 2B is a different model.
I do need to know a couple things about some choices that you guys made. Number one, what did you guys do with Pascal?
I deleted his memories and then I saw him again in the village.
Did you buy from his shop?
Yes, I bought the machine head.
Cool. So there are things.
And he said that he didn't know what they were for.
Yep.
Yep.
If you do, so there are things called the weapon stories where when you like start maxing a weapon, you get like read dialogue about it.
Mhm.
If you max those out, it's pretty much just this children screaming for help.
The stories or
The
Yeah.
weapon story, yeah.
Oh.
So it's like you'll go
Yeah,
to
so
a
when you
gym and-
upgrade weapons, each level you upgrade it, it's just like, this was a thing, and then it's like, and here's some more story about it. Here's some more story
and then
about
4
it.
will be like the turn, the twist.
Mhm.
And with those, it's pretty much just the children screaming for help the whole time.
Oh.
So yeah, Pascal.
They do that in Doom 2016. Did you ever read through the, like the demon?
Yeah, they were
dialogue
like the
thing?
first one was conventional, and then the second one's like, no, motherfucker.
Yeah, it just kind of gets like deeper and deeper to like almost like the psychological level of just like these guys are insecure around these guys, so that's why they do this specific combat
So
animation.
fucking
You're
good.
just like, what?
Okay.
But it reminded me of that.
Do you erase memories also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because if you kill him, don't you? That's an ending, right?
no.
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
You told me it was.
No, you got 3 options.
So,
with
when you
Pascal.
said that, I thought you meant when he was outside the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
No,
I went
no.
and I found him as
That is an ending.
killing him there.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
when-
Because
no,
you
no,
can
no.
also just
No,
leave,
no, no.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
After
is the
Pascal
other option.
gets on the angles and bashes some shit.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that time.
Yeah,
I-
no, you have 3 options there, but it really only presents 2 of them to you. And if you try to leave, it does that thing that like when you try to like go somewhere, the game doesn't want you to have like a text box, and it's like, no, I need you to
Yeah.
make a decision on that. It will do that like 2 or 3 times if you try to leave, but you can just walk out.
Nice.
And
What
then
does Pascal do?
He just
never shows up
disappears.
again. Which that again, going with the themes of the game, I do think that is the correct one, where it's like erasing Pascal's memories. It might make him feel better, but like it's not necessarily going to solve anything. Like he should live with that grief as much as that sucks. As much as I do like him, I
I
think
mean,
that
he deserved it.
piss off.
No,
Also-
listen. They wouldn't have died if he convinced everybody to have faith in him. Because he could do it, but he did such a poor job of showing people that I've got you guys that he let children kill themselves.
Yeah, like I'm not saying Pascal is not without fault, but I don't think deserved it is the right
Yeah,
take
he
on
deserved
it.
it. What's really cool though.
Okay, well then come up with a better hashtag.
What's really cool though is that you can tell something like that's going to happen right from the fucking beginning you meet them, because every robot still connected to the network has yellow eyes. Pascal has green eyes because his eye lenses are blue. So there's yellow light shining through blue lenses, so his eyes appear green. So it's like, oh, he is still connected to the network.
Yeah.
So kind of, I know I mentioned it before, just like unanswered questions. 9S like uploading his part of himself to like the machine network, and then they never do anything with it again.
It was to it helped the virus get into the fucking Yorha.
Wasn't the virus already going to get into Yorha? Because that was part of the like the back door thing that
It theoretically could have eventually, but 9S is the one that got it in. I mean, it's like given a
I thought he got it in by going in and kind of like hacking into the stuff and finding out about the human thing, because he destroyed the security thing, but like specifically him uploading his stuff to machines, and then he's like, I'm in the machines now holding 2B and monologuing, and then it's like, okay, we're done talking about it.
yeah. I mean, I know the part you're talking about. It's like
You're talking about when he
Like
when-
both
yeah,
two
I
B's
know
and
that,
9S's
that
ending,
ending, but
yeah.
where he gets choked to death.
No.
But it's like while like at some point he put himself into machines, he comes on, his eyes are green, he's like, it's me and this robot, and then the only other time you see it again is that same scene in 9S's thing, and then it's just kind of nothing else happens, and then you've got...
I think it's just there to temporarily preserve his consciousness before he gets moved.
Did he get moved, though? I just assumed it was...
Yeah, he did, because it's a,
I mean, I know it's a different 9S body.
Because it's
not
like
a dead
he's getting
one,
overtaken by the fucking virus or fucking like Adam and Eve's thing. So it's like
Yeah.
he cuts that off, puts himself in the machine to like keep himself going. But then before he can get his shit wiped, like he normally would in a 2B kills 9S situation, he gets himself up.
Because I didn't think it was his whole consciousness that got into it. I thought he said he had started uploading his stuff and stopped. So I guess maybe I picked up on it as like he also kind of split himself because it was like part of him was up here doing this shit, and that's kind of more virus infected 9S, and then not virus infected 9S. Part of him was in machines. I hope they did more with it.
It allowed for 2B to think that he was killed when that shit was going on, but also allowed him to do what 9S models fucking do, which is inevitably discover the secret of fucking Project Yorha every time because we designed a robot too fucking good.
Well, he did that before he put himself into the machines.
But this, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, this made 2B and, like, them not think about, oh, we need to still fucking kill 9S.
Right.
It's like, oh, no, he's fucking dead, we're fine. And then he gets that shit done.
The first day I played it, I said something about, I fought that boss that was that android, and you said, no, it's a machine. Because I was fighting Adam. And you're like, no, it's a machine. And I said, no, it's an android. And you said, no, it's a machine. But an android is just a robot that looks like a human.
They're the same. Fucking, I was having fun. They're all.
You didn't say Oklahoma.
We didn't have the key. We didn't have the fucking safe word.
It's choke me.
But
But also, you know, in the game, they specify for a reason.
I mean, Machine Core's an android.
It's because he doesn't.
Black Box
he's
are
never
made out
read
of the
a
same
dictionary.
shit.
Exactly.
Also, Dash told me that they put the 2B run in there to make you think it's a good game.
Bad game.
Bad game. That's what I meant to say.
Both of them.
And then
I thought that's why they put the
9S
9S run in there.
No, I'm pretty sure that's why they put the C run in there.
Piss off.
Just really drive it home that it's a bad game.
I
First, you
wish-
got 90 EMP enemies all coming at you.
Oh, yeah, here, if you want to
Great
just vent
part.
about this for a
I got
minute.
stuck on that for an hour.
I didn't get stuck. It was like I knew I would eventually get through it, but it felt very much like that. A lot of that run felt like we're gonna drag this out for a while because that's the one where you're crunching along as 2B. It's the one where you're sitting there getting blasted with the things, and eventually just like pixelate the screen so much. It's like, all right, let me back out of this battle until the screen clears up,
Yep.
and then I'll walk back
Like,
in and get blasted a couple more times.
Literally, what I had to do was stand at the edge and just hack each one of them like 3 or 4 times individually.
Its defense, you did not upgrade yourself at
I didn't
all.
know I needed to. It was on easy and auto combat.
in
I
his
didn't know
defense,
that I needed
I
to
did
upgrade.
upgrade myself.
Okay, it's like if you had the
So-
same problem, it's like, oh, okay, whatever.
It was kind of just like.
It was like
I would
get
get like
it.
3 or 4 of them with a big enough area that were just like zap, 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 and
Well,
it's
not to
like,
mention
please
that
fucking stop.
Their head goes up and there's like this much of a delay,
Yeah.
and then the charge goes off. So you don't even have time to like dash out of their little circle if you're attacking them when they get ready to do it. It's like, no, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're boned.
Trying to think. I feel like I had some other questions, but I might have forgotten right about it. If they pop into my head, I'll.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, throw some notes out here, and we'll.
Carnival Tank.
I liked not having to fight it.
I fought it the first time.
Yeah, same.
So,
Shit only attacks you if you attack it first.
which I think that's really cool.
I think
there
that's
was
well
a
done.
moment in 9S's run where I ran into a golden one in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he shows up throughout.
And I was like, oh, I can't hurt it. Maybe I have to hack it. The hacking prompt never showed up, and it never let me hack it. And I'm just like, why are they throwing an impossible enemy just into the second run of the game?
See, and I guess like because you're not supposed to hack the tank, you're supposed to hack the guy.
Yeah, I tried.
But it's like with the technical problems that you've run into on this game, it's like I kind of just have to assume that you tried your best.
I did. We could go into that now. Just the weird...
Actually,
Well, I mean, there are other golden enemies. They're just.
but do they
tough to
show
kill.
up if you don't kill the first one? Because I've
No,
never not
they
killed
don't.
the first one. Because you would have had to have run into it when you go back to the beach, so you would have definitely seen
Yeah,
it.
they kind of show up. No, I beat the one on the beach.
Oh, well, okay. Then.
I beat that one by being able to hack it.
Okay,
I
no.
went back to the desert to try it again after I restarted the game, and it worked.
Okay.
There are some that show up later when you're just fighting. I think some show up when you're... No, never mind. Yeah, some gold ones show up with like groups of guys, and you can take them out.
Do you just get better parts from them?
Yeah, you get like just some good. They're like pretty loot filled.
Yeah, but you just have to kill them in a specific way, because you can't...
Oh, really?
You can hack away at them.
But you can't.
I killed one that way.
You're a
Yeah, I beat one.
You're
It
a piece
followed
of work.
task failed successfully.
It followed me all the way, because I was trying to do the Jean Paul quest where I'm like delivering things and telling people like, oh no, he doesn't give a shit about you. And it followed me over to one of them, and I'm just like, fucking leave me alone, and I just hacked away at it for a while.
Yeah, I beat one pair of them as 2B, and it was fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you want to go into your technical problem?
We can. I mean, they're fun to talk about. So I had that one where it just wouldn't let me hack. the game froze a lot.
Did it?
Not only did it freeze a lot, but even if between like going into hacking or teleporting, I would be like solid 5 seconds of just a flat white screen, and like the music would start to play in the background, and then be like, okay, or I'd teleport and it'd be like, okay, you're teleporting, but it froze a lot. But I think the big one is,
I guess, just real quick though, on the game freezing, and I'm not necessarily saying that like Nier isn't necessarily a problem with this. I think it might have been an Xbox thing, because in that same period of time, I literally got Mortal Kombat to freeze 4 times in one day, and it's that normal like game, then go to the menu. It's that one.
But I wasn't getting the buzzing ones.
Okay.
The buzzing ones never happened. It was like it would try to load something, and then it was just like, I can't load it.
Okay.
Because the buzzing one, at least for the most part, is almost, at least when I get them, is like a full system lock where it's like I got to turn my shit off. This was like it would just hang out on a white screen or a black screen, and be like, no, we're just not going to load. So I was able to like just solidly quit out of the game and get back in there. But one of the times it was actually no, it never really set me back too far. But it was usually like I'm kind of reaching the end of my patience with doing something.
I mean, yeah, that shit's annoying. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's...
It would hit me, like, I did a boss fight or something that pissed me off. Oh, yeah, because I didn't turn on auto combat until after I did the Adam and Eve fight, the side-scrolling one. And I was like, well, that fight was kind of dumb and stupid when you're just playing normally. And then it froze when I was trying to teleport back to the bunker after that. Like, right as I unlocked fast travel, I was like, well, that's enough for today.
Yeah. But your big one that I will use, we'll use this to as the segue into ending E, but...
Yeah, okay. So, you beat it and you're doing the shoot 'em up with the credits. Mm-hmm. Which, I thought that was cool when I was first doing it.
It got really hard.
It gets
That's
really
the
hard.
idea.
Yeah, which I knew. This is, of the game, that's one of the things I remember, like, when Hunter was talking about it. Like, that's a cool thing. So I was doing it, and I get to the Square Enix part, and I was like, oh, wow, it got really hard, but I know the thing's going to happen. And I die, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I need to, like, progress far enough. I died 40 times about, maybe more, and I was telling Dash, I'm like, dude, I actually, like, don't think I'm good enough to get past it. Like, I've reached my skill cap, and he's, he knows.
Right.
He doesn't know that I know. He doesn't know that my game's not working.
Right.
I never got like the help messages or you're doing good. So it just popped up, was like, do you want to give up? It's like, no, I don't, no. So I died about 40 times. I was like, do I just need to give up and it offers me help?
Right.
So I said, yes, give up. And it's like, cool, here's the title menu. And I was like,
yep.
Fuck, well, that wasn't what I was supposed to do. And I was kind of bitching Dash, like, no, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, because it's like Ryan likes to kind of fuck with you sometimes also. It's something he's known to do.
That's true.
I never push it that
Ryan's
far,
a bit of a
though.
jokester.
Ryan's never joked once.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm sitting there at work, and I'm screen grabbing the conversation, sending it to Hunter. It's like, this motherfucker, like, what the fuck?
So, Dash is like, keep going. I was like, whatever, I have stuff I need to do. Like, he was like, it should take you 15 minutes at this point to finish up the game.
Yeah, like, it is a 20-minute segment.
I hit probably about 30 to 40 minutes. I was like, look, I have shit to do. So I sat down, I did my homework, did my chores around the house, hopped back into it, died another, like, 30 times. And he still like, you can do it. You can do it. Hunter, I don't know how far you've made it into it, but I beat the marketing division.
I think that's where I got to. Actually.
So it's like, I got decent, like, I got to a point where it's like, I'm fucking good at that.
Right.
During that second 30 times, I accidentally pressed, yes, I want to give up again. Because you have to hit the controller to, like, for it to show up on screen.
You hit up and it goes to the top one, and you hit down and it goes to the bottom.
I think I pressed up twice on accident trying to get it because I was just frustrated. I was like, fucking just show up already so I can start this over. I went, good, and then quit out. So I can get all the way to the Square Enix part without taking a single hit.
The deaths also do count no matter where they're happening, so you can, like, literally die immediately at the beginning.
I assume so.
Which is fine.
So I eventually had to power cycle my Xbox, which I had done the day before. So I had to do it again because you pull the power, like, you pull the power cable out, let it sit for 20 seconds, normal electronic restart thing, because Xbox is weird and it needs that sometimes. Had to connect to his dad's internet, and then they started showing up. They showed up no problem.
Wow.
But I died about 70 times to this thing you're supposed to die to 6 times. And I was like, this is, like... So by that point, the novelty of what was going on had completely worn off.
Right.
Weight of the World is my goddamn bane. I fucking hate that
Sounds
song
like
now.
time to play Weight of the World.
It did
Matt,
give me a
put it
chance to kind of sit and
God.
like notice the song, because I think it's cool how it goes to like different languages. Then you finally get to this point where it's like, oh shit, she's fucking speaking English.
She's speaking English. Holy
That's
shit,
cool, because
yeah.
I know a lot of the soundtrack is, you've said, a made-up language, right? Some
Yeah,
of it's
it's
in
like
Japanese.
chaos
Like, yeah.
I
Chaos
think some of that part is
It's
like
'cause it's
a bunch
made
of
up,
languages
it's
are
called
in the
chaos
world.
language. It's based off real world languages. They did this in Nier 1 too, where the first ending, you had the song in English.
Oh, should we talk about things that Nier 1 did that Nier 2 aped?
I mean, I thought they were going
Devil
to
on
ape
Popola's
the
room.
I mean,
Devil
there's...
and Popola just in general too.
Yeah, I mean, that whole library thing.
Yeah, I
I'm,
know.
I'm more so talking like, oh, hey, we're doing a text segment. Isn't that neat? It's like, no, you did this already in the last one. Oh,
I
a
mean-
twist about things and, like, humans being dead? Is like,
Well, I mean, I thought the twist of this one was going to be that robots were somehow the humans all along.
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
me
the first
too.
one, because just like in Nier 1, the robots in the first area after the intro segment, they aren't initially hostile unless you attack them first. In Nier 1, there are shades just running about, but since you just killed a bunch of them, you're like, oh, these are enemies. They don't attack you unless you attack first. They're just
I'm
hopping
gonna-
around.
I'm going to say this.
Say it. You know what?
I'm
Do
going
it.
to say it.
You know what? Do it.
I like Nier 1 more than I like Nier Automata.
That's fair.
I sat down and we watched through the whole thing. You gave me a copy of it and I played through most of it, but
4 hours long.
yeah, you gave it to me like the day after we finished watching it. I was like, I can't play this right now, Hunter. I literally just saw everything.
But play it.
But the stuff where it's like you get in with 9S is like, oh hey, there's some context. It's like, yeah, this fucking same thing in Nier 1 where you get the context for the stuff. I think their stuff is more interesting. It doesn't explain everything that it wants you to be thinking, so I actually like think about Nier 1 a
Watch
lot.
the stage plays.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like as a whole, like we're talking about things as a whole that get over their bad parts. I think Nier 1 is way better than Nier Automata.
Before we get too far away from ending E, I know you said it messed up. Matt, you delete your data.
Did I delete my data?
Oh, I didn't even get the option for
I know,
that.
that's why-
If we want to
that's
talk
why
about
I'm-
another...
That's
thing.
why I know what happened to you. Did you delete your save data?
No.
Fuck you.
You fucked up.
Fuck you.
I don't even know what you mean.
Those ships that come in to help you are other people who deleted their save data to fucking go into the collective of people to help other people finish the game.
Oh, you mean did I type a message?
No.
No.
No, there's
After-
another
I
part.
didn't do
Yeah.
that either.
As-
Did
What?
you get a choice to do it?
It asked, do you want to leave a message? Do you have anything to say?
'Cause that's
People
all I
who were
got.
struggling, and I
Wait.
said nothing at all. And then it was like, okay, regular credits, and then that cutscene where all the pods have their
Hold on,
treasures.
I might have a theory then.
Did you
If-
skip that?
No, if you don't say anything or if you say something discouraging, they may not give you the option to give help.
Really?
Because the message I put was, hey, I went through it too, it's not worth it.
That's interesting. So anyway, what is supposed to happen? What the typical is, that's why like when you get those ships, it's like it will hit one and say, "Hey, blank's data has been really," and it'll fucking do that all the way down. But then you go to it and it's like, "Okay, hey, these motherfuckers just helped you. Do you want to do the same? This will erase all of your motherfucking data."
Yeah, it
That's
asks
me
you like 5 different times. Like you
Yeah,
won't.
it's like, hey, are you really
probably
sure?
won't get thanked at all. You might help somebody you really hate. Are you sure? It's like, are you really sure? And then if you say yes,
Yeah,
like
no,
the
it
5th
did not
time,
ask
it
me
just
that.
deletes all your stuff.
I thought that was really cool, giving you the option to delete your save data to help somebody.
That-
when they did it in Nier 1, when that was a thing in that.
It was different in Nier 1.
It was more interesting in Nier 1.
I'm just like, that is also, you couldn't do that in a movie or a book outside of like, hey, this book needs to forcibly self-destruct after you finish.
I was
would buy that
thinking
book.
about it, and I was
That'd be a cool book.
maybe you put like
Kojima wanted to make a game that destroyed itself when you fucking died enough times.
You just turn the page on one book, it just bursts into flames in your hand.
I know there's
you
other
turn the
things,
page and
the-
it pulls the pin, and you're like, oh fuck, oh god.
There's the Fight Club soundtrack that to get into it and listen to it, you have to physically destroy the cover
Really?
to get into it. Like you can do stuff like that, but I feel like with that one you could potentially do something with like passing the book around to do different stuff. I agree that there are some things you can do in video games that you can't do in books, but again, the novelty very much wore off for that by the end of it, so I'm 100% sour
And see,
on that
like,
whole situation.
that's the thing is like you and I'm
But
not.
they also did it before, so when it, like if given the option to delete my stuff, it'd be like, oh, yeah, I saw this before. I'm fine with it.
I mean, I feel like the things that would be the hardest to convey in a book would be the emotions that you can see.
Oh, like facial
Yeah,
things.
like there's a lot of things that just go on, like on 9S, he has a lot of fucking facial expressions that he goes through.
He also yells when he's
especially
feeling.
in the C run. There's a lot of things that happen.
I also think that
or
this.
we'll see in everything after that.
I think this was just quick side. I think this was voice acted really well by just everyone involved.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
9S hit
Japanese,
it out
so
of the
sure, it was
fucking
great.
park, Sure. Even the English voice acting, though.
I didn't do that.
Well, for the most part.
Oh, I did.
I
I
played
did
like-
English.
I've
played
never
like
done.
a-
I've never done Japanese in that game.
I
I
played
did
like a real
Japanese the
weeb.
second round.
Yeah, I think the voice acting is just really, really good.
Yeah.
In that, especially for like Square Enix localization, like I think it is really fucking good.
It's because they got the same guy to do the voice direction as the first one, and he did a real fucking good job.
To be a cutie.
I just the
Way too thick as fuck, boy. God damn.
Oh, she cut her hair short. That was pretty good.
the fucking I just like think that the ending E stuff and like what it's doing there. It's like yeah, sure. I mean, yes, Nier 1 fucking does that, but that doesn't mean that it's like not really good when it's done here. And giving up your fucking save data, to help other people. It's like again, that's reinforcing the core themes of this thing of just like it doesn't matter what your fucking save data. It's like none of this fucking matters. You can replay it or anything like that. But
when you finally beat it, did you have to go back into the characters, the chapter select?
No, if you...
No. When you did it. When you finally got the credits to actually work.
I did have to go through chip.
Maybe that's why it didn't give us the
Why did you have to do the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Because I quit too. I died a few times and I was like, okay, well, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm trying to shower and get over here by 4, so I just turned it off. And he hadn't responded to me yet of, do I need to shoot the credits?
Oh, yeah.
And I had just turned it off and he said yes. And I was like, fuck. So I went back in there and I had to go through the chapter select.
Right.
So it may have something to do with that.
That's another... That's
As far
like
as
I've never
like-
like researched this
You
specifically
know,
to see like what triggers you need to hit.
'Cause,
for
I mean,
it.
at
Yeah.
this point, I can go back in and I can eat the fish and I can take out the OS chip and I can fucking still get all those other endings.
But
I
if
wanted
you
to,
think leaving
and
Pascal
then I could
behind
go-
is the real thing that should happen, then why does deleting your save data... why is that different?
I mean, the thing with
Because you should have to live with all the shit you did.
just if it's worth doing, you can do it again. Like
Maybe.
it is a setback. It's a bad thing, and it's like I think about it every single time. It's why I've replayed the game 4 times. It's not that I just. It's like
So
oh,
you can
there's
help people.
there's a fucking yeah, sure, that's why.
Dash misses jellies off by
It's
helping.
like it's not that oh, if I want to re-experience something about that game, I don't have a chapter select. I've never not deleted my save data for that. Like
Oh yeah, because I remember telling you that I went and bought it. Oh, so you didn't delete it. Did you go back to the... I know you were cutting
Oh,
really
yeah, I
close.
did. Let's talk about
literally.
this.
I
No,
finished.
yeah.
it.
This is actually...
wait, timeout, Hunter. What?
Real quick, with the endings, the first one you kill, the first one you destroy is Yoko Taro because he wants you to see the ending, and then Square Enix is the hardest part because they don't want you to see it. Anyway,
Also, first line of the game about 2B having to find and kill their gods, and then you shoot the credits. Again, I'm not saying it's subtle. I'm saying I liked it.
shit, Square Enix.
Like, that part's pretty good. I do like this sort of going up on, like, the gods thing. Like, kind of people blindly following these things that they don't see. Like, androids
Like
are...
people?
Yeah, well, like, androids are... Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is a comment on religion, but it's just like androids going and killing these things blindly because
They have
something that they
blindfolds
can't
on their
see.
eyes. Yeah, they can't see anything
Yeah.
because they're wearing blindfolds.
Exactly.
And then they take off the
blinded by
blindfold.
their faith.
And then the resistance thing is an open eye because they've known the whole time about all of it.
Also, blindfolds because eyes are the windows to the soul, and they're robots, and they're not supposed to have feelings and emotions and stuff like
They
that.
do.
Yeah, they do, but they're not.
But they're not
supposed
supposed to.
Right, but
Except the
yeah,
commander.
I mean, obviously,
I-
they're not
She
supposed
thick
to.
as
Fucking
fuck.
She thick as fuck,
I'm
boy.
just fucking-
Goddamn.
I guess dealing where I guess maybe rewinding it a little bit back to about the voice acting, just like the characterization. I think it's really well done how in like those beginning segments where fucking 2B and 9S are together, the like way 2B is like he's like, oh, emotions are prohibited, but it's like she's being especially shitty to him. Like she is shittier to him than she is to anyone fucking else. And I just think that it's just done really well. Of just like, yeah, because she's fucking so like when 9S shows up, she knows what she's gonna have to fucking do with 9S, and she keeps trying to not get attached to him. And like when they're on the fucking top of the Goliath, and it's like she's so happy that like things can just get to end, and she doesn't have to like specifically murder 9S. But it's like, oh, we like the way that she is so fucking happy when she does that. Before she gets fucking beheaded and she does that turn to the camera, she says, "Oh, nines." I think that's just so fucking well acted.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that the voice and performance stuff is very well done in it. Like, especially, again, for what it is, where it's like, this has no business being that well localized.
Right.
So, anyway,
okay.
the greatest shopkeeper in video game history.
Yeah. I would say this is probably, of the little moments, this might be my favorite little moment.
Okay.
After you beat the game, if you don't delete your save data, did you got a message that popped up like, hey, go back to the resistance camp, that some people have new dialogue?
Not yet. I mean, literally,
Yeah,
I finished the credits and saw that scene, and it went back to the title screen, and I turned off.
It's
my
between the
PlayStation.
title scene and that.
I-
Like,
I
it's
probably
you have to
did
tap
that.
through some menus, but basically, one of the things it says is like, go back to the resistance camp and go talk to the strange girl, which is the girl sitting there with the rope, the
Oh,
machine
They
head
kind
on.
of, yeah, the machine.
Okay.
You talk to her, and one of her dialogue options of like the 12 she already has is like, do you want to buy the you-know-what? And you're like, I don't know what that is, but
Hell
sure.
yeah, I do.
You go in there for either 100,000 or 50,000 a piece, depending on what it
It
is.
varies based off the PlayStation's thing of bronze, silver, gold,
Oh, okay.
which doesn't translate over to Xbox, but that's why
Maybe
those are
point
different
value.
price. Yeah.
But
What do
you can
like you
buy
buy
achievements
trophies?
for in-game
Yeah.
money. So I 100%ed that game.
I've 100%ed that game on 2 platforms.
Because I had a lot of money to buy most of them, and then I just sold my entire inventory
Yep.
and bought the rest of the
Which,
achievements.
when I'm doing my Xbox run, it's like, again, I know that she's there. So, like, before I go and do the credits or, like, whatever, like, did it, I did the credit secret twice because I don't think she shows up until after I do the credits. So I do the credits, go back in there, just liquidate all my shit, buy all the achievements, finished up, delete my save.
Yep. So yeah, I'm sitting at I've 100%ed
Yeah,
2
and
games.
then-
I've 100%ed 2 games. Portal 2, which I did on my own, and this one because I had enough money in game.
It's so fucking good. Like, I love it. It's so, it is
this
so
will also be my
dumb.
second platinum.
It is
Yeah.
dumb, but
Subnautica
it's
in
just
this
fucking,
because the
oh,
Subnautica
it's so
trophies are
good.
literally just playing the game.
That's great.
So
Yeah,
So is
I
King
like that
Kong.
because a lot
I
of
believe
them.
you.
A lot of them are like, oh, that would probably be pretty hard if I was doing this
Yeah,
normally.
like catch
Fully
all
upgrade
type-
all the chips. Oh fuck!
That's
Really?
a lot of those really aren't that bad. Like, some of them
There's
are
a
awful.
lot of
Some of
chips.
them, like catching all the fish.
That's
Fuck
awful.
that noise.
That is awful.
I fished 3 times.
I don't think
I-
and
I
it was
fished
all on
once,
accident.
actually.
I accidentally held circle.
I fished once because I was like, hey, Amara, check it out. This game has fishing in it. And I caught one thing and I was like, that's not very interesting.
Nope.
And then I went and did something else.
To get ending Y, you have to get every single weapon in the game.
That sounds awful.
I,
Never gonna
Just
get
like a
ending.
Drakengard, baby.
Uh,
I'm gonna
but-
stick with ending E and O and call it.
going up through, I think it was going
I'll
through the
probably eat
tower
fish.
when you get to the part that is like the remake of the library in
Yeah.
Nier 1. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. See, I played this before I played the original Nier, so when I went into Nier 1, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Mhm.
How about that? That's neat.
Yeah, they have lots of really cool stuff. I do like that they started to reference it, and they kind of told the gist about, 3/4 of the way through this, like, what happened in Nier 1, but it's like, I really like the idea of, like, Devil and Popola not being the ones from the original one, because those ones went crazy to
But
do
they still have
some
to bear
stuff.
the sins of their fucking...
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought that was
I
really
love
cool.
how the other androids reprogrammed every Devil and Popola to feel guilt for the
Yeah,
people
they
and
hard-coded
actions.
guilt into them. I'm going through my notes here, and...
Oh, I have a quick thing
Top of
that
this-
I didn't like.
just really quick, top of this page, it does say waving flags is fun.
You already said that.
Waving
I know,
the
but
flag
I need to
is
get
fun.
I need to get back that waving flags is quite fun.
Waving flag?
They say waving the flag is fun.
But
that's
but
what
lots
they
of
say.
them are waving flags, and
Mhm.
multiple ones will say that it is fun. So we can conclude that waving multiple flags is in fact fun. Okay, go on with your thing.
I don't like that the game won't let you interact with anything whilst there's dialogue going on. I don't like that it stops you from you can't do any prompts whilst someone is talking. Like if you get a call from command, you can't press circle on fucking anything. You have to wait for that to be done in order to do anything. Also, the dialogue continues while you hack.
I'm okay
It continues outside
Oh yeah.
of the hacking minigame. So like you'll be in a battle and they're like talking back and forth,
Well, yeah.
and then you start hacking someone and it's like, oh, you just missed all that shit.
Yeah, because it's not like they'd stop talking while 9S hacks just mid-sentence.
But I mean, you could
The
probably
time-
still hear it.
Time stops while 9S hacks. Nothing moves outside the hacking minigame.
Yeah, okay.
So
Welcome to the hacking zone.
that's-
Also-
I mean, it just does. It's
Beyond not even being able to like interact with things, like when you're getting calls and it's like you're gonna
Walk
crawl,
slow.
you're gonna walk at just the slowest pace, and it's just like, please, I already have to walk across this whole world and I have to listen to them talk. doing this.
Well, it was worse for me because I played in Japanese, so I had to fucking try to not hit a bush so I could continue to go full speed, but also keep my eyes on the bottom 2 inches of the
Wait, you
screen.
really played Japanese?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
he
played it like
said
a
that.
real weeb.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
I played the whole game in Japanese.
That's unfortunate.
But also-
5 fucking times.
In the
I
tower, the
would've told you to change
there's
that
a
had I
reason
known.
that the Nier 1 library is there, and that's because N2 has Nier's data.
Who does?
N2, the little girl robot.
Oh, okay.
The little girl
I didn't
robot
catch, I didn't catch
AI.
her name.
Is
Uh,
that... Wait, is
she's
that
got-
the 2 of them?
Yeah.
The 2 little girls?
Mhm.
That then is 40
The
and
machine.
then 100,000 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
That part was kind of cool. Where it's
Yeah, I liked-
you
I liked
just
how that
kind of
was-
have to like wait it out.
Yeah,
It's like
that
that
was
was kind of
funny.
neat.
And I like just the whole thing of just like, yeah, bitch, we've been in control of this shit the entire time. We have been letting you succeed so we can make ourselves better. Fuck you. I
We
thought-
made your spoilers.
What does Yora
That
stand for?
the
I
tower.
don't know, actually.
Yeah, that was one of my questions too.
I'm sure it said
Why
somewhere.
are only 3 of the letters capitalized?
Yeah, what do those mean?
Yeah.
Maybe those are the starts of words.
I mean, but O is probably of. What's A? That's
A.
not capitalized.
A.
Like, why does it end with as or an or
Hey.
am?
I don't know.
Like,
It could be HA is something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, I
'cause
guess it
it's
could
probably
be.
like capital YO is the beginning of a word that starts with YO, and then what are the and then
R.
A-
YOR and then HA.
R's its
Or
own word, and
capitalized.
HA is another thing.
yeah, I mean, I guess it could be.
Did either of you on 9S's run do the shut-in robot?
Yes.
No.
Um,
I mean, I don't think
th-
so. I
there
think
is
that's no.
in Pascal's village. There's a door with a fucking big old lock on it, and like a mom robot outside, where she's basically like, "Hey, my fucking son is so shy. He's locked himself in his fucking room. Can you please help us get out? He's put this fucking lock on there. You know, you
Is he
hack
jerking it in there?
probably.
Sick.
You fucking unlock it, and then he comes out and he's just like, "Hey, I'm really like, I don't really like talking to people. I don't like doing this shit. Can you kind of leave me alone?" And then mom's just like, no, you need to get out there and talk to people. And you kind of keep going back and just kind of keeps getting further and further until eventually, I think you do him the 3rd time. And he's just like, you know what? Yeah, sure, I'm a fucking shut-in, but that's my fucking thing. I'm going to make a lock so fucking good, you can't hack it, 9S. Motherfucker, like, I'm going to fucking do that, and this is going to be my fucking purpose in life. And he's like, go be the best shut-in you can possibly be, you know? You fucking do you.
Okay.
And then when Pascal's village is on fire, one of the first things I went to go check is, how's my fucking boy doing? And
Is he still up there?
his house is very on fire.
Yeah.
In that segment. Like, the whole place is kind of on fire, but his house specifically is on fire.
Okay.
Fun fact about the game, though, just in case you wanted to know, it's like, maybe he got out. If you swing your sword, you will kill, explode, and get loot.
Yeah.
Neat.
No, it's like, he's in there and he would fucking die.
Yep.
Okay.
Did that on
How do we know
accident.
he's not a zombie though?
We
If he's-
don't. We don't, ultimately. But I just
He
want
may
to
have been
say,
infected and
his
forgot his
house
unlock.
was totes on fire.
Yeah.
He's a robot,
Like,
though.
aggressively on fire.
Yeah, he can't die from smoke inhalation.
I think one of
I
this
mean,
is
I guess
just
he
kind of
can.
a
You can choke a robot.
Yeah.
You might be able to suffocate one
android.
too.
This is more just like a general complaint around people talking about this game. I don't think it's that weird, and I think people give it a lot of credit for being really weird.
It's
and
not.
it might just be because we've played a lot of weird shit. I looked
mean-
at my collection of games and was just like, Killer is Dead is weird.
I don't
This
think
is
it's
weird
weird.
as fuck.
This has some like I think this is
Eccentric?
interesting. Eccentric for
Eccentric
sure.
is a
Yeah.
good
The
like-
job near automata.
Yeah, but it's
The
not
job, 9S is dead.
just everyone who's kind of played it, and it might just be because this had a lot of eyes on it because it's like a Sony
Quirky.
exclusive. I think a lot of people this might be their first kind of like weird game, so it might be the weirdest thing they've played. But I was playing it going just like, so when's it get weird?
Yeah.
I'm waiting
I-
for
I
I'm
mean,
waiting
like,
for the
I
weird.
firmly
If
don't
any-
think it's a weird
I mean,
Yeah, it's not that.
No.
Like, it's
It-
less weird than fucking Nier 1.
I mean, the
Nier one's
the
fucking weird.
concept of it is weirder than anything else.
Mhm.
Like, just the idea of the whole story arc and everything, that's pretty weird.
The fact that they
But
made
it-
it is weird.
Yep.
Yeah, which
I
I mean,
was
if you get
real
into the
happy
fucking
that
development
E3
of this game, that's a whole other fucking.
I like
can
how
of worms.
Yoko Taro has a quote from when it was in development that's saying, in the development of the first one, I would get angry and yell at the development team a lot. But since Platinum Games is good at their job, I mostly just spend that time drinking. And I make better games when I'm drunk, so I think it works out for everyone.
There's
I
a
disagree.
there's a fucking
I think he
like
made a better game when he was angry.
there's this fucking one where he's like with a cosplayer, and then like the person who's with him is like, oh, what do you think of this person's 2B cosplay? And he's like, I was trying to avoid bringing this up until right now, but I can't see anything out of this mask, so I don't know how she looks. He put a thing out on Twitter shortly after the game came out, actively asking for everyone to please make him a big zip file every week of all of the 2B porn and to please send it to him.
It's because finding it individually was too much of a hassle.
And
Brilliant.
you say it's not a titty game.
It's a booty game.
It's an upskirt game.
It's a game that has titty, but it's not a titty game.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you self-destruct at all?
Yeah, I did once.
Okay,
and
good.
guess what? I did it while Amara was sitting next to me on the couch. It was like,
Nice.
oh, I think this might be an ending. And then it's like, Ryan, that's lingerie. And I was like, oops.
Melissa asked me,
Whoops.
like, what it was the in-universe justification for her wearing the dress. Or she asked him, like, why did she wear this? Like, oh, it's because Yoko Taro's horny. So she's like, no, but, like, what's the in-universe justification? I'm like,
That is it.
let me get back to you. And then I found out later, it's like, oh, it's supposed to be a heat sink. It mitigates heat. It helps them stay cool so they don't overheat.
Sure.
It's like, well, you tried.
So this is going to reveal some weird things I know about anime, but that reminds me a lot of Chobits.
Hey,
I
know
talked about Chobits.
So there's this anime that the guy has a female android. How you restart it
Guess
is you
where the
press the
switch
button in her
is.
vagina.
Of course
See,
you
it's a
do.
finger. But it's not a porn anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very clearly a titty anime, but it's not porn.
It's made by Clamp, who make weird shit. Like a dojin where Jotaro and Kakyoin had a child from an egg.
No, that's just JoJo. Shit. What are some other notes here? I haven't got?
It is self-destructing is an ending if you do it on the bunker.
Yeah, you blow up the
That's what I
bunker.
heard afterwards. So again, we're kind of getting into that, like, listen to this funny Yoko Taro thing that happened. Listen to this thing that I learned from the stage play. Hey, you get more of this from, like, listening to these 14 songs at the concert that happened once. Like, Nier's really cool in, like, its whole universe thing and talking about it, but then I feel like Nier Automata is just kind of like this slice of, like, it's kind of it's not all that great. I like talking about it, but it's like I feel like I'd almost rather just talk about, like, the Nier timeline and all this stuff instead of, like,
With
playing that
Automata, I
game.
feel like they did a lot more side stuff, because I feel like
Oh.
it might have been Square Enix being like, hey, we know this has a cult following, so if you do a bunch of weird shit, we can get some cash off that.
Mm-hmm.
I've meant to bring this up like 3 times, but I keep forgetting about it. There's that one quest where you have to kill those rogue Yorha androids, and when they fucking see 2B for the first time, they're like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
Because they know she's an E-model. And it's like, oh, that was like another thing that on my subsequent playthrough, it's like, oh, how about that?
That was a pretty neat quest.
Let's see, what else do I have written here?
I did like the change across ending C. I liked that you got to kind of, like, choose how you played it, where it's just like, okay, you finished that, like, section of the game. Do you want to do 9S? Do you want to do A2 this time? And I just I switched back and forth between them, and, like,
I wish
That's
that
what
I
I did.
had
See-
because that's
oh,
how
really?
it goes. Just because, I mean, it wouldn't have made any difference
I mean,
on
see,
the way that
I
I played. I just thought it was cool because I finished 9S.
uh-huh.
And then, or no, I did A2.
Yeah, you did
and
A2
then I did
first.
9S. So, but I started 9S and it was like, oh, well, A2's over here doing this, 2B's here doing this, and we're going to do, or, you know what I mean, we're going to do
Yeah.
everything that we can
2B's
to keep
here
them
being in the
separated.
ground.
And I was like, oh, that's cool as hell. Like, it's actually, I thought that was really cool. That the
Yeah.
game itself was like, the pods are trying to keep them separated, so they're going to be off doing their totally different shit, and then, you know, you just end up, you fucking actually, like, finish everything, and I got stuck just on 9S, and it was like, oh, you're A2 again.
I
Spoiler alert, you're going to the third tower,
Yeah.
where 9S is right now.
So I really like I liked doing it back and forth because I feel like their character development, like, it goes kind of, they, like, cross each other. They go opposite, where
She becomes more passive, he becomes more aggressive.
exactly, like,
Right.
she kind of learns, like, oh, this is I don't need to be violent and all this shit all the time, and he's
Right.
like, I'm gonna do this. So, like,
I'm gonna
watching
go
their
fucking
characters
nuclear.
Yeah, watching their characters develop kind of side by side, I think makes that a lot more clear.
Yeah.
I would maybe do it again, like, playing them separately and seeing how they meet up, but it's like I liked watching this, like, he's here and it's like she's here, and it's like watching them just kind of get closer and closer together.
Right.
And I thought that was
Well, and
that
it
was
was-
pretty cool.
I thought it was neat because I tried, it won't let you teleport to Pascal's village when you first start to play as A2.
Mhm.
So I tried to walk there, just to, like, see what the fuck was up, and then you get to, I went the little side way where you, like, go through the forest,
Yeah.
and she goes, I don't want to go there. And the pod's like, no, they're friendly, you should check it out. And she's like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
And then come to find out, it's because 2B's right there. She doesn't know that, but
Mm.
that's why the game won't let you there. Because that's where 2B, or
9S.
that's where 9S starts.
I did the
When
same
you
thing when I
start
was
him-
talking.
Yeah.
I was talking to Dash about it, and I said, "Oh, I'm at the point where 2B dies." And he's like, really?
Oh,
You made
fuck,
it that
this is
far?
so fucking good. Oh
And
my
he
god, I
almost-
almost spilled the fucking
He
beans.
almost spilled the beans, and then I was just like, oh wait, sorry, I mean 9S. And it's because I'd only done the first playthrough. I hadn't gotten that far into
Yeah, it's like he's talking about the part where like 9S gets shot by the fucking sea snake.
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, I'm at the part where fucking 2B gets fucked up, and I'm like, fuck,
Damn,
man,
you made a lot
didn't-
of progress.
You didn't tell me you got that far. And then it's like I literally had something typed out, and I'm like, wait a minute. Do you mean 9S? Yeah, 9S.
That's the
Fuck. Oh shit, I had something. I really like, again, I don't necessarily need to get super deep into this. I really like how they make the fucking Miles Tails Prower of this game the more fleshed out, the better, and just, I guess, the main character of the game. I like that kind of bait and switch of, like, I guess Metal Gear kind of did it with Raiden also, where it's like, you do the first part, it's like, yeah, 2B is the main character. Actually, here is the actual main character. And I think that's done really well. I think that a lot of also the ways in the first run, when you're playing in auto combat, so I'm sure it doesn't really make much of a difference, but when they take half of your damage output away, even if you kind of thought 9s was kind of annoying, which I did at first, when they fucking get rid of all of that DPS that you were doing, you suddenly kind of won back a lot more than you did beforehand.
Which part is that?
When they split you up.
Yeah, when after the
when
fish
9s
thing,
has to get repaired.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
just
and it's
2B.
like, I'm dealing half my damage now.
Talking
Yeah.
about disappointment, I was legitimately excited because I mean the paths in the second run divert after the like fighting the big like machine thing in like the sunken place with like the
Right.
the nukes and shit, and I was like, okay, they're separated now. I finally get to know what he was up to, and then it's just like,
No, they're back together.
yeah, okay, cut to this part where you're just in the constructed city now. It was like, oh, I was hoping more.
Yeah, I thought some
I was
crazy shit
hoping
was
more
gonna
was
happen
gonna
while he was
happen.
on the bunker, or like he was gonna
Yeah, I was hoping
get into
just
their
like
system while they were repairing him, or
I was
something.
hoping there'd be more
like,
9S stuff, and there was a little bit, but I specifically remember because Amara was watching me play. I'm like, oh, cool! Like starting to split up. I'm gonna know what it is, and it was like, oh, it's okay. It wasn't very much. I was hoping it would be more. Oh well.
I think you're thinking about how much you want to fuck 2B, except it's not actually how much you want to fuck 2B, is really well done.
Yeah. What is it then?
How much you want to
I mean,
blank?
it's
to
not
be.
a core thing, but it's like there's another side quest where you're doing this fucking like arena quest for Jackass, where you have to like go through and fight the stuff, where she's like doing studies on you, and basically it's concluded that when Yorha androids are in combat, it produces like the same effect that it would be for like having lust or love for a human. So because 9S has like this shit going on, it's like he knows about 2B flying to kill. It's like they fucking both know about this. His thing could very easily just be kill or harm or hurt, or it could be any number of things. Like, it's not a set thing. There's no right or wrong answer, but I just think that's well done because obviously they totally make you think it's fuck 2B.
Well, yeah, because
It's
she's a titty
smooth.
character.
Yeah, it's like they
Well,
very clearly are
also-
going for that, but then it's like it's just that intentional misdirection there where it's like we
Well,
know
and
we're gonna bait and switch that.
They drive that home even more when you start ending O, and then you start ending C, because it starts off talking about how, with 9 saying, before I could admit the truth to 2B, or something like that, before I could tell her the truth or something, and it kind of is like, what, does he love her? Is that what's happening? Or
Oh, I thought
like,
it was
what's
the truth.
What's the truth?
I thought
Well,
the
I
truth
figured-
was that humans were dead.
Yeah, I figured that's what.
That's
the
I
truth
mean,
Yeah, but
that's
that's
what
part
it
of it,
is.
yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you first get there, when
Oh,
I
yeah.
first got there, I was like, "What's the truth? Is that the
Hmm.
case? Like, does he want to fuck her?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I would, but like,
I mean, and that's
I
just
wouldn't
like
want to accidentally restart her.
I just think that was a
Chopin
really
anymore.
my Xbox background is also the picture of
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
that's
funny.
my wallpaper now. Because I can take a screenshot of that.
This isn't the Clamp podcast, not yet.
There's again, this is just kind of some ramblings that I have left on here.
That's right. We've really only got ramblings left, I think.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh.
point in. Does anyone care if I talk about the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yes.
Does
Because I don't
anyone,
want to
is
hear
anyone
nothing to do with
concerned for
Nier.
spoilers about the ending?
No, I just don't want to hear it.
I have
Um,
no concern about spoil. Actually, I think I know the ending. Are you gonna play Kingdom Hearts, Matt?
fuck no.
Is
Oh,
it
good,
where
me neither.
No,
is it where
okay.
Donald
I will
goes to
play
the
Kingdom
Sword
Hearts
and Sephiroth?
eventually, but by the time that I get there, these spoilers will no longer be relevant. That's
Um,
why I learned the ending to Endgame.
Kingdom Hearts
Doesn't matter to me.
wholesale apes the ending E thing, where there's a Kingdom Hearts mobile game, and
Oh, I bet that's good.
it's fucking terrible, but it's very canon
But
because
Kingdom Hearts
everything
is
is.
Of course
bad?
it is.
But anyway, there's a point where it's like you are having to do a twin stick shooter segment, and then you're having to like fire bullets, but then every one of your bullets is the username of someone who played the mobile game. And it's like, oh, Squeenix, you fucking stole that, you fuckers. I fucking see what you did there. That was all I wanted to say about that.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Nomura
about as
saw-
much Kingdom Hearts 3 as this podcast.
Yeah, the
could
Kingdom
take.
Hearts minute has concluded.
Nomura saw Nier Automata and was like, hey, that's neat.
I'm taking it.
I'm doing it.
I am really
Dibs.
curious what Yoko Taro gets to do now, and the scuttlebutt I keep hearing is that he's going to direct Final Fantasy 16,
Tweet him. Ask him.
which,
That would be
I-
interesting as hell.
yeah,
That'd be the first time I play Final Fantasy in quite a while.
I would fuck with that.
You and everyone else.
Like, I think he has some really neat ideas. I would love to see him, I think, in, like, collabs. Like, I'd love to see a, like, something similar to, like, Shadows of the Damned, I guess, where it's like, you get 3 people who do different things. You get, like, Yoko Taro coming up with, like, game ideas. You get someone who can do, like, turn those ideas into good gameplay, and then maybe don't have them direct it, but have somebody kind of, like, rein it in or direct it in a way that, like, keeps everything
Like
kind
someone
of
else,
consistent.
someone else to
He did-
facilitate it,
Or maybe have someone-
make sure it reads. The way
Yeah,
it's supposed
something
to.
like that. Because I feel like I'm not nearly as in love with Yoko Taro as you guys have.
I've got
been.
a fucking idea.
He did writing for some stupid Japanese mobile game.
He did do that. I've got a fucking idea. Okay,
What's
so
your idea?
there are a
Tell
lot
us.
of like these kind of like prolific Japanese game directors. You know, like you have your Shinji Mikamis, your Kojimas, you know, people like that. Your fucking Sudas. What if? So one of the
What if Suda had a gun?
one of the
That's a
Japanese
big
game
baller.
directors I like a whole lot is Hideki Kamiya, and his game studio is known for doing really good gameplay in games. What if we linked Yoko Taro up with his game studio? Then you could have Yoko Taro's like kind of creative input with a game that plays really well.
I'm gonna disagree with Platinum Games having good gameplay.
I like their thing. Like fuck you.
But does their
Dash
thing,
always
does
has a
their
boner
thing
for
work with a
Platinum.
Nier game or a Yoko Taro thing? I feel like those.
Yes.
I get the sense that they're like they don't quite mesh as well as I wish.
I guess it's
they
like
would.
if you were to give this game, just as an example, Bayonetta, with its fighting and combo system, or even Metal Gear Rising, like
Are those 2 very linear games.
I mean, I'm just take the combat, just put the combat system in there.
Mhm.
It would immediately improve that game for me fucking tenfold because it was something that I would enjoy
Yeah.
interacting. If you don't like fucking Platinum games, like I get that it's not for everyone, but I fundamentally enjoy just doing the combat of those
Yeah.
games. Like that is alone all I need for that. And this game disappointed on that on every fucking front. Like it's not fun. It's flashy. It's like they got the flashy part down, but it's just mashy and dodgy and
I wish,
not
with as much as he wants to make a shoot 'em up, he would have teamed up with a studio that did shoot 'em
Well,
ups.
Square Enix won't let him make a shoot 'em up.
And it's
He
about
keeps
as
trying, and they're like, no.
there was so much shoot 'em up in it, and I think the shoot 'em up was some of my least favorite.
It's
parts of
never
it.
done
I
well.
really liked shooting mortars at the big fish.
That was pretty.
That
Yeah.
was neat. I wish I could do
I
it
like
more
waving
than
flags,
one
but-
time.
Yeah. Like, I thought the hacking stuff was pretty fun, but anytime it was in, like, the mobile combat units, I did not have fun. I thought those parts were excruciatingly boring.
It's like it wasn't it didn't have enough shoot 'em up stuff
Mhm.
to be a good shoot 'em up. So instead, it's just kind of like these shitty diversions.
I liked that. I liked that all of the enemies seemed to kind of be their own thing. In that, I haven't seen them somewhere else before.
Oh, yeah.
And then the flight suits are just Gundams. Like, what the fuck, man?
If
Like,
we want to fucking talk about
they're
some merchandise,
Robotechs.
I would
Gundams.
buy in a heartbeat a little wind up stubby. that
Yeah.
Just,
well, yeah.
Oh,
I would.
the
love
opening
that.
of the second run through. What'd you think of that part?
The opening of the
Where
where
you're the
he's trying
little
to bribe his brother.
Oh, with the
brings
oil.
the oil.
Okay,
Love it.
I liked it. Do you spill the oil no matter what? If you
No.
jump?
Nope. If you walk around
No, that's
the
what
pipes on the ground.
But if you jump,
If you jump,
spill
it'll do it
no
every
matter
time.
what?
Okay, I didn't jump.
Okay, because
I-
I only jumped once.
I was worried I was gonna spill it. I was like, this
Right.
motherfucker's not graceful at
And
all.
see, that's the thing is like that was one of those moments where it's like you motherfuckers, you knew what I was gonna fucking do because I obviously just tried to walk over the fucking because it didn't happen when I walked over the first time like nothing happened.
Oh.
And then I did the second, I was like you knew
See,
exactly what I was
I
gonna
tried
do.
to. I tried to jump,
Yeah, it
and
did.
it
Also
spilled
will
it. And I was
spill
like,
it.
"Well, I'm not going to go through the fucking 20-second animation of filling the bucket up a third time.
I did.
I'm just going to walk over there and give him the fucking oil."
See, I did
Like,
it. I
I'm
was
not
like,
gonna
I
do
tripped
all of
on,
that.
I tripped on the pipe, and I was like, I wonder if he'll spill if you jump. And so I did it. I was like, okay, that was good. That actually could.
Like
I
I
like-
fucking like that's so.
I liked when it like zoomed over to 9S and he's over there just like
Never
Yeah,
gonna be your
thinks
brother.
that- he thinks oil's gonna make him his brother.
Dumb
just
robot.
like not understanding
Yeah.
at all what's happening
Like,
and
what
like
a dumb robot.
Stupid robot. What fucking.
yeah, I thought those parts. Well,
I like the part where 2B can say that 9S's voice is calming and he gets all flustered.
yeah, that's
I
pretty
think
neat.
that's
I
quite
saw
cute.
that too. So this was kind of going along with like
I think
the
she's-
subtlety of its themes and making sure you don't misunderstand. I think they might have shown their hand too early with like, hey, machines are thinking things that you're fucking up. Like, because you do the desert thing and you walk through and they're running through just like, please don't hurt me, please don't do this stuff. It's like, if they would have waited like at least 2 more missions, it would have hit so much harder. But it's like,
Right.
I killed maybe like 20 robots before they started like saying things. I'm like, oh, they have consciousness.
Right.
They're sentient.
Also,
Yeah.
a fucking thing that I legit did not like click in my brain until this most recent run. You blow up a wall to get to that area, and then like 9S just kind of does this throwaway line of like, why the fuck do we need to use explosive to open a gate? And then it's just like, whatever, we don't talk about it. It's like, oh, it's because you're invading these fuckers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
fucking fuck,
Because
yeah.
they live here.
Yeah,
I picked
duh.
up. I
They
picked up
chill.
on it the second time.
4 fucking runs to get to that. It's
Yeah.
just like, wait a minute, fuck, that's why he says that.
Yeah,
Because
But I did
she's
it
a
for the second
jackass.
Yeah,
I'm
so
Jackass, and welcome to Jackass.
are their names? Are they supposed to be like? Are they names that they took on? Or are they supposed to be like this was their like model number or something, and then they just stretched it out into full names? Because I feel
Yeah,
like,
like
Jackass and
Anemone.
Anemone are kind of like.
I don't know if
If
there's
I
a
was just
J
seeing-
unit.
Well, it doesn't
There's
necessarily
not,
need to be
no.
that, but it could just be like, oh, this is part of my serial.
I mean,
number.
I
It
don't-
kind of looks like a word.
That's a hard question.
The art book that came with like the big black box edition. It's like,
Which is just a big white box.
well, it turns out it's got a big white slip cover over a big black box.
That's great.
Anyway,
Which makes sense when you look at like the constructed city that's made out of all the little
yeah,
cubes.
exactly.
Like, oh,
Whoa.
that was the first thing that popped into my head when I got there. I was like, hey, white box makes sense.
But like at the front of it, there's like a message from the commander to Jackass, and I think it's been a while since I looked at it, but I think it mentions like Jackass's like old name,
Mhm.
and then at the back there's a message from Jackass to the commander. But obviously, since the bunker's blown up, she's addressing the commander after she's dead.
Oh.
Also, Anemone is from the Anemone is from the stage play.
No, she's from Finding Nemo.
Ah.
But yeah, there's
Um,
also a stage play concerning old stuff.
Isn't there a
Well,
porno?
Probably. There's a lot of porn of anything.
No, I mean like canonical.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems up his alley.
I'm pretty like anything you can think of. There's something that's near related to it, but I don't speak Japanese, so I can't.
Also,
I can't
Nines
look
gets
into
his
it.
dick cut
Also,
off and it becomes
uh,
sentient and fucks 2B all in the cell.
A-
Oh, talking about
A2's
that, so we should talk
personality-
about Kaine and
yeah,
Nier
I was gonna
1.
say, A2's personality is based off Kaine. Kaine has a penis.
Okay.
Which you don't find out throughout the game, but she's like a girl running through in like sexy lingerie because
Okay.
they couldn't even do an original
Right.
character design
Yeah.
in the second one.
Of course.
with
It's
titty
only
girls.
in game. It's hinted at during the second run through.
Okay.
Like she's treated as an outcast in her village for some reason because
Okay.
she's got like you're not even a girl or something like that.
Okay.
But like
It's
Is
very.
she a
it's very-
hermaphrodite?
Yeah.
Or is she
She's a
trans?
hermaphrodite.
Okay.
because when whatever was making her body fucked up, and so she had a penis and a vagina.
Sick.
Sorry, birdgina.
So I
Right, there
think.
you
Does anyone else have any other thoughts or things they want to get? Because I do have a wrap up here. I-
Go
my-
ahead
my-
and spit that rap for
My
us.
notes are pretty much exhausted at this point. I've kind of talked about everything I wanted
Let
to.
me
not
see that.
sure if I have
Just says
anything
waving
else. I'm just
flag
trying
fun.
to. Trying to.
You know what's
3
fucked
pages.
up is my biggest question coming in today was, is it automata or is it automata? And
They-
there's no answer for that.
It's like I think the
question.
actual
So-
way to pronounce that word is automata, but literally one of the pods says automata.
It's one of
Well-
those words that you can pronounce different ways.
I guess so.
Like-
Root route.
Data.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter.
I guess. That was my biggest question.
Well, how do
coming
you say
into
the word
this.
automatic?
Just like that.
Automata.
Or how
Or.
do you say automaton?
Automatic.
And I'm pretty sure it's
Automata.
near onomatopoeia. So.
No, you're right.
All I know is
They
that
just
it's
had to
not
shorten it.
far.
I.
Oh, sorry. I do have one other thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you keep trying. I don't know if you're trying to wrap up.
I'm not necessarily trying to wrap up. I just feel like I've said my shit. I feel like you guys have said
So-
your shit. I'm not necessarily trying to wrap up.
I think my brain wrote a better ending C than this one, or maybe not ending, like a root C. So after I beat it the second time, I kind of hung out on the title screen and it played like a teaser trailer almost. Or no, this is actually the first time. After the first time I beat it, it showed like a teaser trailer where it shows A2 with the short hair and some other things, and her running around yelling things. So what I thought had happened that I think would have been a cool thing to follow is A2 is just 2B's body that didn't get blown up in the connection thing.
Okay.
And so she's just kind of like the replicant thing from Nier 1 that kind of developed its own thing, and like so you play as 2B again, but as one that died during the intro, and like you've discovered all this shit, did other things. I didn't fully do it up, but I was like, that seems really cool. And it's like, oh no, you're A2. And I was like, oh man, I wish it was that other thing, because that would have been neat.
Yeah.
I did invite a 5th person to come on this podcast.
Is it Danny?
Yeah, it was Danny. However, he neglected to fly out for it, which very
How-
rude.
Are you going to
How
phone
rude.
him in right now?
No, he did ask me to mention a couple things that he wanted me to bring up.
Got it.
Oh, before you get to that, in ending D, when 9S falls on A2's sword, not on purpose. She did not mean to stab him at all. He just kind of
I
accidentally-
assumed
yeah.
it was all unintentional.
He just accidentally stabbed himself on her
Just a
weapon.
That's the
fucking
most
close.
9S.
Uh,
Like that is on brand for
And
9S.
since with Yorha weapons, memories are stored on the weapons, as he's lying there bleeding to death, he is seeing everything that happened and what 2B told A2.
Oh yeah, I mean 2B's memory is in that sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, while
So
he's sitting
2B
there, while he's laying there writhing in pain and bleeding to death, he's like, "Ah, fuck, my waifu."
Oh,
Not
she
all-
killed me 1,900
not-
fucking
exactly.
times.
So now she killed him again.
Yep.
She always finds the.
Yeah.
It
like
always ends
Potter.
like this.
Um,
Wait, real fast. Go
I'm
ahead.
not in a rush.
Everyone else interrupted you. I needed my turn too.
He wanted me to bring up this concept that I was not familiar with before you mentioned this, and if I mispronounce, which I'm sure I will, but is Gesamtkunstwerk. It's a German word.
Sounds like you pronounced it right.
Basically, it's like a universal artwork or like a comprehensive artwork, where it is a piece of art that draws on kind of all other forms of art to make itself up.
Mm-hmm.
So like again, I mean, it goes in kind of with the Gestalt principle with it, but he just wanted me to bring up how it does that idea of like bringing in the literature references, the fucking philosophy references, the music, the everything. He just thinks it's a
The
very
stage plays.
Yeah.
the stakes, but like all that, like he thinks it's a very, very
Porno.
complete package. In that he really enjoys how there are the major philosopher machines, and they all have lives reflective of those people they're named after.
Yeah, I think the references and stuff are pretty interesting, and it gives people a good starting point if they want to look into philosophy stuff.
Yeah, like I think it's a really good, and it's like there were tons of things in that where I'm just like, oh fuck, because it's like I feel like everyone would at least maybe recognize one or two names. Like maybe the most easy to figure out ones are the Marx and Engels one.
There, oh god. So, I think
Them being factory machines, I'm fucking down
That's
with.
funny.
Like, yeah, that's good.
there were looking at the things he draws from philosophically. I really felt like the audience he was going for, or at least to critique or draw in, were the kids that are in your philosophy class going like, overpopulation's an issue, we should kill everybody. Like, he picked all of the the baseline baby mode edgy philosophies where he's like nihilism, existentialism, this stuff here.
Nietzscheism.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing is like I don't feel like it explores any of those themes.
It doesn't.
deeply.
I think it explores them enough so it can critique them.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a big existential
And it's- I mean,
critique.
it's also,
it's
like-
definitely saying like
it contradicts
existen-
itself a lot.
Existentialism's not a good thing.
But and I think that that's all done and I think it works well, and I think what it did is good, and it does. I mean, it gives you that stuff of just like, hey, even it's the same way if there's this concept in game design where it's just like trying to educate someone indirectly. It's something the Assassin's Creed games do a lot, where it's like, hey, here's this thing, and if we can just get you to look something up, it's considered successful. Because it's that thing of just like, hey, education games kind of suck shit. So we're going to put shit in here, and then if it can just maybe get you to do a little bit of research, then we're going to... It's like, hey, fucking, naming the main villain of Final Fantasy VII the Sephiroth. Like, if you fucking look that up, maybe you'll just enrich yourself a little tiny bit more.
Counterpoint. Mavis Beacon teaches typing is the best video game. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Frog Fractions is the best video game and it's educational.
Frog Fractions ain't a video game, it's an experience.
It's a bi-monthly snack basket.
Just like
Not
Quiet
twice
Man.
a month, every 2 months.
Play Quiet Man.
I'm going to now that I'm done with Nier.
I forgot that you bought Quiet Man.
I did, and then I need to play the Blands DLC.
Oh fuck, are we gonna do a
Save
Quiet
it.
Man one of
Yeah,
those?
do it.
Honestly,
Fuck
I would,
yeah,
I
let's
would
do it.
honestly do a Quiet Man.
Say,
talk.
save it for the Quiet Man podcast.
I don't know if I'd be willing to run through that game again.
I
let
can
alone
remember. I
twice.
can remember a
haven't
decent
run through
amount.
it
It's fine.
all
I'll
the
just
way
stream
yet.
the whole thing
Matt, okay, so we just got through a game that you got to play through multiple times. You got to play through Quiet Man twice back to back.
back to back.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
You gotta unlock
Okay.
No, we put a week between ours.
We had to put a week between
Oh, yeah,
ours. We
'cause we
didn't
beat
want
it-
to put a week
we
between
put-
ours. We
Yeah.
there'll
Save
be
it for
time.
the Quiet Man podcast.
There'll be time. So yeah, Danny wanted me to bring those up. And it's like I agree with him.
Was
in
it
that.
was just the one thing?
Basically, there's that German fucks and fucking cunts.
Yeah.
Just some
The
Kunstberg.
concept.
He wanted me to bring that up and just how he thinks that this better. What's his exact words? To my knowledge, nothing in the universe itself deserves that description more than Nier Automata. Those are his exact words.
Yeah, and I think like the Nier universe, because Nier 1 has it too.
It's not as bad.
Yeah, but just I think like if I were to sit down and just like want to like look over and read through all the Nier stuff, did you say that what was it like the Grimoire Nier has a lot of
Grimoire
Yeah,
Vice.
Grimoire Nier has a
It's the book that
continuation
came out.
after ending
Oh.
D of the first one, which talks about some of Emil's life. Spoilers: the aliens base the robots off of Emil. That's why they're shaped like that.
that.
Okay.
Which,
Also, if we're talking like sad things and stuff like that, I feel like Emil's story was way more impactful than those
Yeah,
baby
Emil's,
robots killing themselves. in
Emil's
this
got
yeah, I mean
rough.
the whole thing is about Emil's pervading suffering. Which I mean, do we want to talk about Emil in this one? I'll be kind of glossed over it.
I mean,
I didn't follow up with.
He's
Emil
got
at
a
all.
quest
I literally
line
saw
that
him
you
the
do.
one
I
time.
know he said like, "Hey, I live someplace underground," and it was kind of just like, I don't feel like exploring for that.
If
I
you
assumed it was
find-
the sewers, and then I never.
No,
went to
if you
look.
find
So.
specific flowers, he'll show up and be like, "Oh, this kind of reminds me
I
of
think I
something,"
saw
but I
those
don't
flowers.
really.
Yeah, you probably
There's
saw
like-
one or two somewhere.
There's like 2 or 3 of them throughout the game.
Oh, does he
Like,
remember the girl from Drakengard 3's flower?
Did he take it from her?
That's a whole other.
Wink.
That's a whole other can
we
of
will
eggs.
be here for hours.
Anyway, but you find him. He's like, "Huh, this flowers reminds me of something. I need to be alone for a little bit." And then you finally find the last one. It's like, "Oh, hey, can you come to this place for me? Thanks." And you go down an elevator. It's Kaine's house from the first one. There's just a field of those flowers.
The lunar tears.
Yeah, the lunar tears.
lunar
which is
tears.
kind of a big thing in the first one.
And
And he just talks about how he used to have these friends that they, tried to save the world, didn't go so great. Now they're dead.
Okay.
And
But-
he's still here.
also, this Emil isn't the original. Like the original Emil made like tons of like copies and like
Yeah.
versions of himself to fight off the
It's a
aliens.
secret boss, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, you
ending-
can do a secret-
that's
There's a
what
secret
ending
boss that's
Y
like
is
a
based off.
bunch of just his heads.
And it's
Fuck yeah.
implied that is the original meal, but it's not confirmed.
But so anyway, it's like he splits himself into all of these like different things to fight the aliens, and then this Emil is the only one
And
left.
keep in mind, Automata is like 7,000 or 8,000 years after the first one.
Oh.
So a lot of those Emils, they're still around. They're just insane.
Right.
Because they've had 8,000 years of life.
Right.
So the ending Y thing, you get all the weapons, you find Emil in a desert with a bunch of giant Emil heads behind him.
Oh.
And
And
he's
then
like,
it's that boss
watch
that's kept
out.
kicking your ass.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the big
It's a
spear
reskin
one.
of that one.
Hegel.
But it's
Hegel.
all Emil heads, and they start like singing, and they're
Do
talking
they
about.
sing that song?
No, they're like
Oh.
la 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 la,
Jesus Christ.
and they're like the pain, the eternal pain. It screams at us.
And then
Oh.
don't they blow up and destroy everything?
You fight all of them, and then one of them starts self-destructing, and you have to destroy it before it does that. But if not, it blows up with such a blast that the Earth fragments,
Christ.
and that's ending Y.
Wow.
And I'm sure he'll
Okay.
make a fucking story or a game based off ending Y.
Yeah,
'cause
he.
that's how Nier
So
came
I have-
about.
So I have a question. There's the one machine that's like crouched down in front of a door behind a building.
I think that's DLC.
Yeah, that's
Is that
so,
DLC?
Yeah,
'Cause I
there's
was wondering if you just have to. You go and you talk to him, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Don't tell anybody about this, but
Yeah,
I have
it's
to
like-
give you something, so I'm going to self-destruct." So
Yeah,
you
it's
can
like
have
come back later. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
so I assumed it was.
I
you
never
had
got
to
the
go back
DLC,
as
but
nine.
I
and
have, it's in
hack
the
door.
Game of the Year edition. It's just like combat trials,
Is
which
that all?
the final one
Okay.
being you fight the CEO of Square Enix and like some other
I think it's
Square
the
Enix.
president of Platinum.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
President Platinum and CEO of Square Enix.
And you
Oh,
unlock
yeah.
you unlock a titty costume.
Okay.
You unlock Nier 1 costumes too.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was something you had to go back to as nines
It's
and
just
hack the door to get
DLC.
in, but then I forgot about it when I was
Which
nines.
I did a little bit of. They're just kind of like, hey, you have to beat this thing where all the lights are out, or you have to beat this thing without using a gun, or it's they're not particularly great.
Okay.
Was that all Danny had to say?
Yeah, he just
Okay,
wanted to
you
bring.
said he had a couple things, and then you said one thing.
Well, I mean, he said the German Juju, and then he wanted to also make a point about the philosophers, but we already talked about
oh,
that.
I thought those were
Oh,
the same.
No. But yeah, you should watch the Andy Blythe stuff. It's all good.
I think
And
I
also-
watched
I mean,
you play it.
To be fair,
Maybe.
if anything
Uh,
has come from this, it has made me want to go back and get all those little superfluous endings.
It also
Don't
makes-
go
Eating
for all
fish.
the fucking-
No. I just
all
mean
of
like
them.
eating the fish
There's
and
26 of them.
self-destructing on the bunker.
There's
and-
one for each letter of the alphabet.
I figured there was. I just
Most-
mean
yeah,
the ones
most of
that I
them are
literally
just-
could boot it up and do.
Like we mentioned this earlier, but most of them are just going the wrong way or just leaving while some big shit's going down. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
when-
Which it's helpful to have chapter select for a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Like when the fucking whatever ball it is attacking the resistance base, if you just run off, it's like 2B left and she
She just
went
fucked off to the
fishing?
woods.
Yeah, she went fishing. She spent the rest of her life being hunted by Yorha and machines, but you know, it was a good life.
Okay.
Yeah, like a
And
lot
then
of
it rolls
movies
credits
like that.
real quick.
Or it's like 9S's curiosity got the better of him, and he had to fucking go and ignore his mission, go and explore shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, that's.
But I just mean self-destruct on the bunker, eat Jackass's fish.
take your OS chip
Take
out.
the
so you
OS
can-
Yeah,
chip
that's
I
a
can't
out.
believe he didn't do that.
I like
Well,
the
it
that.
says death. It said it would cause death, and then I accidentally clicked on it, and it said, "Are you sure you want to take it out?" And I was like, "Honestly, at this point, I just want to finish." So
Also-
because it was today
This
Oh,
when
isn't
it asked me that, so I was like, "No."
This
I don't
isn't
think I wanna
unique
do
to this game, but just like I like that you can disable HUD elements in order to
Yeah.
potentially slot in some more attack power.
What's also neat is, you know, before the bunker blows up, you've just got that stupid fucking Dark Souls mode thing of dying where, you know, oh, your corpse is still there, but you can
Right.
go get your chips back and whatnot. After the bunker blows up, you can't do that anymore. Because you don't get an additional body.
Right.
Yeah.
You just get a game over.
Yeah, you
reload
just
your save.
get a game over. It's like, oh, that's neat. I hated that thing.
I didn't
because
I didn't
fucking-
realize that's why that was.
Yeah.
But that is pretty neat.
But it's like, that's cool. But also, I hate that every fucking game wants to be Dark Souls. Like, oh, you go pick up your stuff after you
It's
die.
better. It's a better system than the Life Center.
Yep.
How about you just reload? How about you just get a game over and you reload?
I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah, that would work.
Why is everything have
Well,
to be
and
like, oh,
especially since you fucking before the bunker blows up, you can go into a fight, get fucking dunked on, and use all your healing items, and then the only option you have is continue. It's like, oh, great, wonderful. Now I have to go buy all of that shit again, and then try again.
So is that?
But yeah, I think
What do we got?
one thing I mean, I've always thought this was a good thing, but it's like the attention to detail that's in there, like with the bunker blowing up and not being able to do your thing. Like, I wish more games would do stuff like that, where like story beats have effect on like gameplay things.
Right.
So I think that would be pretty cool, but you don't really see it a whole lot.
Well, and with like where you glitch out and it slows you down,
Mhm.
it would be a lot better if instead of it slowing you down, it was like the visual camouflage from the EMPs, where it turns your world all pixely or whatever. That would be a lot better and easier to cope with
Yeah,
than
or if there
it
was
making you crawl around like a baby for 5 minutes.
Yeah, or if the path was easier. You know,
Yeah.
you know what game did that really well?
What?
Metal Gear Solid 4 with the microwave hallway. It was like the same thing.
This is now a
Like-
Metal Gear Solid 4 podcast. Boys,
Yeah.
strap in when you talk about Metal Gear Solid 4.
I liked,
Okay, we'll sync clap right here so I can cut the recording and we can start the Metal Gear 4.
I liked how part 3 was the worst.
Man,
The Europe part, where you just, it's a sneaking mission and then a motorcycle.
not gonna lie,
I
I
didn't play
definitely
Metal
thought
Gear
you were
Solid
talking about
4.
Snake Eater.
No.
What are you talking about?
In Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's like the
yeah,
sneaky
yeah.
bird.
This
was
is a
like,
Metal Gear Solid 4 podcast.
I thought
Keep
you were
up.
just being shitty and saying Snake Eater was
Stop the
bad.
recording if we're going to talk about Metal Gear.
No, you already
No.
did the clap sync. We keep going.
But
But I don't have anything to say about Metal Gear
and
Solid
when we brought
4.
up this will be the last little bit. bringing up like other Japanese developers that do stuff. Like Kojima does a good job with like story things affecting gameplay or just like details in your gameplay and stuff like that people don't really put the thought into. Camouflaging against a statue so much that its dick falls off. Like,
And
that's so
really?
nobody.
Yeah, you can
Fuck
do
yeah.
that.
Like there's so many like fun little things like that this game does have. That it's like I wish people would put this much thought into just games as a whole. I feel like we don't get a lot.
Well,
of
and like with Pascal, with his yellow eyes and blue lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also, fucking Matt and I had a conversation where it's like he referred to Pascal as a girl, and I'm just like, no, I mean, it's like they're not. It's a fucking robot, whatever. But I mean, I identify as a male.
I asked if it was a male because they call him he, but his voice is so feminine.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, and
So
then
I was
it's like,
what's going on? With
I said that fucking thing's like, oh no, he's identified as a man, but then I like kind of second guess myself, so I like get on I fucking like Google it, and like it's specifically he uses a female voice to soothe the children,
That's interesting.
and just like
He is,
that's
it is a male robot.
that is a
but
neat
he
little.
uses a female's voice.
I think that the like I guess the little attention detail quirky things Yoko Taro does are much better executed
Also-
and just better realized than Kojima does. Like I feel like Kojima is like an entry level stepping stone into that kind of stuff, and then Taro does it better.
I think Taro's ideas are more interesting, but I think with Kojima's little things, he rewards you for like trying stuff, like that little bit of like that I just said, like hiding against the statue a couple times, so, like the dick falls off. Like that's a funny thing that you wouldn't notice unless like you thought like I'm gonna try to hide on this statue, whereas like Yoko Taro's is kind of just like, yeah, here's the thing. I don't feel like I discovered any interesting ones beyond like hacking A2 a couple of times, which a lot of people wouldn't have seen, but
I think that when you try to upskirt 2B and she moves out of the way, that's a nice little touch.
I don't think I got that because the camera
Yeah,
sucks so
if you
much.
position the
It's-
camera just right, she'll like move forward and
You have to like
swat at
you have to
the
like get her on
camera
the
and
ledge
then
of something and then
move
get
up.
under there.
Oh, you just do it while she's on a ladder and then she doesn't do it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but then you don't
but
get
then
the
you don't get the
achievement.
achievement.
That's true.
Yeah, hey, I guess there's a way to get that achievement.
Yeah, you can
How?
buy it.
Yeah. Also, Lollipop Chainsaw did it better because the camera works.
Yeah.
I never
And
played
I
And
think
they did
I
it
think
first.
They did it first, and it does it when you do it the first time. Like
time.
the second you look up the skirt, like the achievement's also just called like I didn't mean to do that or something
Yeah.
like that. Or,
Counterpoint: Nier Automata plays better than Yellow
also
Lollipop
worth,
Chainsaw.
That's
Fucking
true.
It's
come
also
at
worth
me.
1 gamer score. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that trophy is worth
Yeah.
1. So, you know.
I mean, I'd rather look at 2B's ass than
20 tons. of
9S.
pussy
no.
ass.
What's her name in
it's
Lollipop Chainsaw? I can't
300
remember.
Juliet Starling.
Never played
There we
it.
go.
It's
I have
350
barely
pounds.
played that game, but
I think I got most of the achievements in that one because they're all pretty easy.
I never played it. It's a
It's
Suda game?
It's a Suda game. I like it because it's like it's like a character action game, but like the character has a lot of weight, so it's like almost like a slow character action game. It's pretty weird, but
it's more like brawler than hack and slash.
Yeah.
Like it moves at I guess like maybe about Yakuza speed.
Yeah.
but it's really short. I don't think it's very interesting. I think
Save it for the Lollipop Chainsaw podcast.
yeah,
Like,
I think Killer is Dead's way better.
Yeah,
but,
Killer's Dead is way better, but that's,
but I think that's kind of what I mostly took away from it is like it did a lot of things that I really appreciate and hope that other people pick up on since this game's getting good. I mean, it got good reviews. It's
Yeah.
not getting it.
yeah,
Came out a while ago, but I hope
2
that
years ago.
I hope that along with like aping Dark Souls stuff, what people pick up from games are like, hey, attention to detail is a cool thing, and thinking about games differently as
People
opposed
do
to just
notice
like,
it.
yeah, that's a chief complaint of mine with people ripping off Dark Souls things. Like they think I want this game to be hard. That's why I like Dark Souls. It's hard. I like Dark Souls because I die and have to pick up my stuff. It's like, no, you're missing like that's a cool element, but I like the detail.
I like
and,
Dark Souls because I can roll.
Yeah,
I mean, just another quick thing, just because it's kind of made me think about it. Kind of like regressing a little bit, but like
how we do.
Jogging.
fucking like I have changed my mind to say that like I think Nier Automata is my favorite game. Like it is my #1 top slot is dethroned Dark Souls.
I think
Something.
that's crazy, but
I think it's crazy you like Portal 2 the most, but whatever, it's your thing.
plays well.
Portal
As
2 is a
someone
great
who
game.
used to put gameplay at the top of their
Not
thing,
written well.
It's written fine.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's pretty good.
That's
I played it for the first time.
I mean,
But, like-
as we've seen today, we can't account for taste.
So-
fuck you.
Yeah,
This-
my opinion's right. You guys are wrong.
Going through and like finish after I finished it for the first time, like when I was playing Dark Souls, like for my very I wouldn't say my very first time because I hated Dark Souls for 2 times I played it. But, like,
5 for me.
When I finally like got into Dark Souls and got in the groove,
I
I'd like
liked it
distinctly
from the
remember how I would
start.
I would go and I just kept like seeking out more information about it. Like I was just reading whatever I could, and I did that same thing with Nier, and I really
That
really
explains
enjoyed.
why you like it so much.
Yeah, it
You
hooked me.
invested yourself.
It hooked me in such a way that it made me want to invest myself, and it really felt the same way that it did when I played Dark Souls for the time. And it really did hook me, and just like I would just find myself like any few times like, okay, I'm gonna watch videos, I'm gonna listen to podcasts, I'm gonna read this stuff, I'm gonna go through the wikis, I'm gonna read these. Like I was just reading and reading and reading, just doing all this stuff.
Gonna
For
look
it.
at the
Just
porn.
sucking Bonnie's dick all day.
I mean,
long.
that's how I felt about Nier 1. This one just, I think, failed to grab me on all fronts. It happened.
It happens.
I wish I liked it more. It does cool things, but yeah, this it didn't grab me.
Did they do any kind of a crossover or like a mashup with Monster Hunter?
I don't think
'Cause
that,
I'm-
but 2B has shown up in a fuck ton of
Because
other
I'm
games.
Like Soul
pretty
Calibur.
sure I ran past a Rathalos today.
Oh,
It shot fire at me. I'm pretty sure. It was
Monster Hunter World came out after this, so it's like I don't. Also, that's Capcom, not Square Enix.
that's
Um,
not why I asked that
but
question.
It's like I know 2B showed up in Gravity Rush stuff. 2B's in fucking PSO2, Soul Calibur DLC.
Everything's
like,
in fucking PSO2
and that's why we're gonna play it.
for free.
But yeah, those are the thoughts on Nier.
Everyone donate to our Patreon
Yeah,
so I can get Emil's head
Yeah, I
tattooed
want you
where
to
my
fucking
third eye should be.
mash
Yeah.
that motherfucking like button. I want you to comment and subscribe and donate to that motherfucking Patreon so we can get that grain.